Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suits your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America, 865-255-03. Y'all know what today it is. Y'all know what today is. Y'all know what day it is. National Signing Day. National Signing Day. We are here. Who will be the newest, the latest Tennessee Volunteers? We found out today. No more committing. No more talking about what you're going to do, what you are intending to do, what you're thinking about doing, what you are planning to do, what you might do. Pen hits the paper today. This is what I got time for. Ben, good morning, sir.
Good morning, King. How are you?
Man, I'm wonderful. I am wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Wrapped up a good episode of Tennessee Prom last night. Kade Mays and Tyler Barron. last one of the football season. We are approaching the bowl game. Got lots to talk about from Prime. But today we start with recruiting, my friend. 865-255-03 is our telephone number to the Iris Networks hotline. Hour number one is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Ben, I got my binoculars on. I got my glasses. I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to keep an eye out on everything that's going on. Head is on a swivel. We got about an hour before we get a commitment. And so
Maybe.
Unless something happens at the last minute, which
It is Auburn.
it is Auburn. Well, we do get a commitment. Whether or not he comes to Tennessee is that's a different question, different story. But Justin Williams is making an announcement, and we are going to get a commitment that we can see one way or the other between Tennessee and Auburn. Hopefully it is Tennessee, but he will make that announcement here within the hour. But, Ben, let's get started, man. Let's not waste any time because we got things to get to today. Got a lot to get to today. So let's not waste any time. What are we looking for this morning, Ben?
Yeah, it should be somewhat of an intriguing morning for Tennessee. Not a ton going on, but it feels like there's more to watch this morning than last year or in years past. Doesn't seem like there's been a ton of signing day storylines to watch really since the Henry To'o year. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody, but there's definitely not been, two or three guys to watch on the first day of the early signing period like it is with Tennessee this year's. You mentioned 8 a.m. Eastern coming up here in 52 minutes. Justin Williams, a 4-star on both sites, 4-star running back from Georgia, has been trending to Tennessee for several weeks now. Tennessee offered him back on October 27th, decommitted from West Virginia, took an unofficial up to Tennessee, took an official visit this past weekend, been to Auburn as well, and that's been a Tennessee-Auburn battle the last week or so. He announces at 8 a.m. Eastern. Tennessee wants a bigger back. Justin Williams is that bigger back that Tennessee wants. So it would be a pretty significant pickup for Tennessee and a legitimate significant pickup, not just one that we're blowing smoke up your rear end, which we don't do here on the show anyways. We'll tell you how it is. So Justin Williams is one to watch at 8 a.m.
Stick with Justin Williams, man.
Yes, sir.
It felt like Tennessee was the leader in a huge way, had a big lead on everyone else when he decommitted from East Carolina and
West Virginia. Caleb Webb decommitted from East
West Virginia.
Carolina.
I'm sorry, West Virginia, and it felt like Tennessee was about to get a commitment from him the next week or so. Usually, when you have a player committed at a smaller school or decommit right after coming off a visit to Tennessee, you can expect that player to commit to your school like really, really, really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't the case. He got an opportunity to enjoy the recruitment process a little bit. Auburn got into the mix.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. he likes to enjoy the recruiting process, and if you're watching on Swain Event TV, here's some Justin Williams highlights for you. The boy can run, especially for his size, and Tennessee is really excited about him if it can indeed get through the finish line this morning. But he's a guy that likes the recruiting process, and so I think that's played into why Tennessee has kind of had to scrap and claw these last couple of hours, this last week or so. He was at Auburn for the Iron Bowl, and then a week later was back at Auburn for an official visit. Tennessee, as I mentioned a moment ago, did get the final official visit for Justin Williams. But, I mean, it's Auburn. It's Auburn, and it did seem like Tennessee was completely in the driver's seat. They've always been in the driver's seat, but I mean, it seemed like he was practically committed, and then Auburn over the last week or so has made it more difficult on Tennessee. But I do believe that Tennessee is going to survive that Auburn surge.
I got my good eye on you, Auburn. My good eye. This is my good one right here, man. My left one. I got my good eye on you, Auburn. Don't be trying on sneaky stuff.
Well, righties are better than lefties, so I don't know if your left eye would be your good one.
Try my right eye. I got my right eye on you, Auburn. Don't be trying sneaky stuff. We know how you get down. So, yeah, man, Justin Williams will be making his announcement. And how much time, Ben?
In 49 minutes.
There you go, doing that math. Why is it 49 minutes?
Because we are 49 minutes, now 48 minutes away from 8 o'clock Eastern.
There you go, man. Did you carry the one?
I subtracted the one a second ago.
There you go. There you go, Ben. We starting off on a good note this morning. That's good. Who else should we be looking for today, Benjamin?
The second person that I'm paying attention to, as well as the second in line in terms of chronological time order, is Gabriel Okus, who is a defensive lineman who, quite frankly, is not going to please the Stargazers. Not going to do it. So he is a 3-star edge rusher from Fort Pierce Central High School in Fort Pierce, Florida. He has been committed to Tulane since early July, and he has seen his recruitment kind of blow up here of late. I guess you could say Tennessee's really the only big school in it. That's why I hesitated with my last sentence about his recruitment blowing up, but there's been more Power 5 schools involved, and this one seems to be coming down to Tennessee and Illinois. Again, he'll be making his final decision at 9 a.m., 6'4", 230, a really good-looking kid. Tennessee is recruiting him to play strong side defensive end. Rodney Garner, Brian Jean-Marie have been tag teaming this one. Tennessee's made a huge impression on him. He's very similar to Darren Agu, who is the Northeast Georgia defensive end that Tennessee was after, who was committed to Vanderbilt and did announce on social media last night that he intends to sign with Vanderbilt today. So Tennessee did lose out on Darren Agu, and Gabriel Okus is next in line, and he'll be making his decision at 9 a.m. So not going to please the Stargazers, but he's one that Tennessee does feel good about, and I do think there's things to like about Gabriel Okus, but he's definitely probably somebody that has to come in and develop over the first year or so, Swain. He has a really good-looking body for a defensive end, and what I really like about him is that he's a state champion wrestler.
Yeah, I remember Tennessee back in the former days, the Scott Wells of the world, guys that played multiple sports, that wrestled, tough as nails. These are the guys you kind of want in the trenches, and you gotta have a certain type of mentality to wrestle. You can't play in the trenches and be a model, taking pictures for doing glamour shots. We've had those type of players here in our program in the last 6-7 years, and so there's just a mentality you got to have. And so I love wrestlers, man. Tennessee football, that is the account you should be following this morning. Listen, Jordan Phillips has been practicing already with the team, but they got to give him the same love they're giving everybody else. Mm-hmm. And doing that, they tweeted out, "Welcome to Rocky Top, lock with ink pen Jordan Phillips, defensive line, Orlando." So Tennessee football putting that out about 18, 19 minutes ago. He's already working out with the team, and if you listened to Tennessee Prime yesterday, you heard that he's getting that freshman treatment from Rodney Garner.
As he should.
He's getting baptized by fire, just like we all go through it as freshmen. We all go through it as freshmen. We come in, we think we're hot stuff, and we got to get de-recruited. We have to understand that this is not high school. So Jordan Phillips is going through that right now. So keep your eyes on Tennessee football Twitter account at Vol Football.
There's about 4 other names to watch. I mentioned Justin Williams and Gabriel Okus. Those are the 2 that Tennessee probably has the best chance of signing today. But the 4 other names to keep an eye on is Demario Tolan. At 10:30 a.m. He's committed to LSU. Was at LSU this past weekend. Austin said flat out on the show yesterday that he's headed to LSU. So maybe not one you pay serious attention to, but did jot that one down because Tennessee has been all over him like white on rice the last several weeks. And Keontae Scott, the JUCO DB, is the next one to pay attention to, a JUCO corner. He is announcing at 11 a.m. That is another Tennessee-Auburn battle. And it seemed like he was dead set on going to Auburn, but Tennessee has had a surge here of late, considered the top JUCO corner in the country. Was at Tennessee for the Georgia game. That was when he spent his official visit on November 13th, and he had a heck of a spring season that helped him pile up scholarship offers and then had another impressive showing this fall. He was a JUCO All-American after his freshman season back in the spring. 3 interceptions, 10 pass breakups, 5.5 tackles for loss. You could nearly pencil him in as a day one starter if he were to pick Tennessee. So seems Auburn bound, but I think Tennessee's got a chance there. He's announcing at 11 a.m. Keontae Scott, a JUCO corner. The other 2, Tyree West, and I would actually group Tyree West, the Georgia commitment, Georgia defensive lineman commitment, defensive tackle. I would lump him in with Justin Williams and Gabriel Okus in terms of Tennessee having a legitimate shot there. Down to Tennessee and Florida State, seems like he's torn on who to pick, and
how.
I don't know. I guess he likes both schools.
I mean, I guess so.
He likes both schools. Who knows what Mike Norvell's doing down there on the recruiting trail.
But
that is,
we know
sure.
that that's not what all the players care about. So
no, but he would be a nice Walter Nolan replacement if you want to call him that. And Tennessee just needs more beef in general. But he was torn as of yesterday, and there's not an exact time in which we know that he's going to announce. Just it's expected to come down sometime this afternoon from Tift County in Tifton, Georgia. Been committed to Georgia for over a year, but it's just kind of known at this point that he is obviously going to go elsewhere. I'm not sure why he never officially decommitted. He was at Tennessee this past weekend for an official visit, so Tennessee did get the last official visit. And I think the reason he's torn is exactly that, because he was at Florida State the first weekend of the month of December. Then he was at Tennessee the next weekend, which was this past weekend, the final weekend of the cycle. And he was really trending towards Florida State going into the visit. And I think Tennessee made up a lot of ground. So we'll see what Tyree West, the defensive tackle from Georgia, does. And then the last one that I'll throw out there is James Pierce, an edge rusher that has had some questions academically, but Tennessee will take him if he decides to sign. That's the question with James Pierce. Tennessee has led with James Pierce, an edge rusher from North Carolina, 4-star, regardless of what site you look at. Tennessee has been his leader all fall long, but schools are selling him on, hey, wait and sign in February. And people close to him are doing the same, because if a big school strikes out on somebody today, then James Pierce is going to be a guy over the next month or two that perceived bigger schools circle back around with and try to get in the boat. So Tennessee would love to get him today. He's not expected to sign, but there's a possibility. And, I mean, he would be as big of a pickup as Joshua Josephs was. And Elijah Herring, the mid-Tennessee native who has been committed to Tennessee for a very long time now, since the summer. Austin Price has been vocal about how he thinks he is criminally underranked and expects for him to be a really nice edge rusher for Tennessee. But Elijah Herrings, Joshua Josephs, if you can go out and get James Pierce, those are 3 really good edge rushers that you are adding to the class. So we'll see if he signs today. Not expected to, but there's somewhat of a chance that he would sign, and Tennessee's been the leader for him all fall. And it would be absolutely huge, not only because I think he's a good player, but, again, big schools are going to circle back with some of these players that have kind of flown under the radar if they miss out on some of their top guys today. And Tennessee's still going to have a shot at signing James Pierce in February if he doesn't sign over the next 3 days. But I guarantee you there will be bigger schools, perceived bigger schools, or other big schools, I should say, that will enter the mix as well and try to steal him. So those are the guys that I'm paying attention to today. Justin Williams, Gabriel Okus, Keontae Scott, Tyree West, James Pierce. I threw in Demario Tolan, but I'm not going out of my way to pay attention to him.
No, not just yet. Not just yet. 865, 255, 03.
We've got our second signee of the morning, and the first one that isn't already here, and that is Georgia offensive tackle Mo Clipper. Mo Clipper is officially a Vol, and Swain, Mo Clipper will be here in January. He is an early enrollee, so he'll get a head start on potentially trying to find a slot in the 6 to 7 deep next year, I guess you could say, along the offensive line. He's one of my favorite names in this class, just pure names. Mo Clipper. How awesome of a name is that?
What about favorite player?
My favorite player,
based on
what they can do.
What they can do.
I am legitimately excited about Mo Clipper. Don't get that mistaken. I think he has some real upside. The 2 guys I'm most excited about in this class is Caleb Webb and Squirrel White. Honestly, I was thinking about this last night as I was looking at it, and I've kind of talked about it in passing over the last week or so, Swain, as it's been brought up. But I really like Tennessee's wide receiver class. Really like Cam Miller, the 4-star from Memphis. I've raved about Caleb Webb the last several weeks, who picked Tennessee on Friday over Michigan and Louisville. Squirrel White, nothing needs to be added or said there. And then Chaz Nimrod is an interesting addition as well. So my favorites in this class, Wayne, I know everybody's going to say Taven Jackson because he's the quarterback, and I'm excited about Taven Jackson. But Caleb Webb and Cam Miller and Squirrel White, those are the guys I'm most excited for. And I think part of that is also wide receiver is my favorite position. So,
oh, here you go, trying to suck up.
No,
man.
I've always said that receiver is my favorite position.
I already paid you, man.
Pay me more.
Golly, man, I already paid you.
More.
I already paid you. What else do you want?
A raise, a Christmas bonus.
Golly, man, they ain't trying to suck up talking about you like receivers the best.
A Christmas bonus of a membership to the what is it? The flavor of the month club for jelly. I forget what they say in Christmas Vacation, but the jelly of the month club. Have you ever seen Christmas Vacation?
No, sorry, man.
You've never seen Christmas Vacation? Oh my gosh. This oh my God. How have you never seen Christmas Vacation with Cousin Eddie? You have to watch it this holiday season. I'm so disappointed in you. And quite frankly,
I don't know why you're disappointed.
You like movies. It's not like you don't like movies.
I do like movies.
It's the greatest Christmas movie ever.
That may be true, but I have shared this on the show, and this is why you have diversity in your circle. I've shared this. This movie came out in 1989.
More reason that you should have watched it by now.
1989. I was 5 at the time, and when I was in elementary school, when I was in middle school, before I transferred to the other side of town, not one time did we talk about Christmas Vacation on the playground or in school. movies that we talked about was like Friday. So growing up, if there wasn't even brothers and sisters in the movie, I didn't really watch them. So
I mean, I get that.
Now I need to go back and watch it.
But you're damn near 40 years old.
Yeah, but I mean,
like that excuse is out the door in my opinion.
No, it's not, because
you're old enough to where you should have seen it by now.
I can watch it now if I have some time to watch it. I will watch it, but like it's like I have a legitimate reason for not watching it growing up. Now I don't have one for now. Well, so I need to watch it. So I will.
You need it's not necessarily.
Where's it at? Is it on Netflix?
I'm sure it is. It's everywhere this time of year.
Let me see where it is.
And
YouTube TV been tripping, man. They talking about getting rid of ESPN.
I know.
They better catch these hands.
They get it for what? It's kind of like Elf. I mean, this time of year, you turn on the TV and Elf or Home Alone is guaranteed to be on a channel.
I have watched Elf before.
Christmas Vacation is by far my favorite Christmas movie. I absolutely love it. Now, it's not a movie that your youngest two need to watch.
They all right. They be all right. They need to experience the realness of the world. No more sheltering. I think I've watched like bits and pieces of this.
I think you would like it. It's really, really funny.
I probably watch bits and pieces. Now I'm looking at like some of the trailer. I think I remember like bits and pieces, but I did not.
He's a Chicago Bears fan.
That is true. Chevy Chase is a Bears fan.
You need. I think you would enjoy it. Try to go out of your way to watch it this year. It is. I can. It's
this
like
year. I got like what, 16 more days.
Yeah, plenty of time. It's like the one movie that I can recite lines from.
Let me see.
On Christmas, it is what I watch every single Christmas Eve. It is my absolutely favorite Christmas movie, and honestly, one of my favorite movies, regardless of genre or time of the year.
Okay, I'm in Netflix. Let's see here. I don't see it.
Maybe it's not on there.
Oh yeah, my profile is urban. I don't see it. I don't see it, man.
You would have seen it by now. I guess they don't have it on Netflix.
All right, where is it? Where's Christmas Vacation? Y'all let me know.
I have it. I'll bring you the DVD.
You got the DVD?
I've got the DVD.
You still have some of my other DVDs that let you borrow?
I brought them back.
You did?
A long time ago.
I don't even know if I have a DVD player.
Oh yeah.
They still make those? People still use those?
I use my PlayStation, my video game console.
I need a PlayStation.
I'm sure it's on Prime or something.
All right, I'm gonna watch Christmas Vacation.
You need to. I think you'll like it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you'll like it. It's got your type of humor in it.
Check my schedule. What's today? Today is 15th.
HBO Max, you got that?
Nope.
You can use my login.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can't stop thinking about that with Kade. Yes, sir. Dude, I was so mad when he picked Georgia. At least I was honest with him. All right, we'll take our bottom of the hour break here on the Swain Event. Hour number 1 is brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Hi there, Swain Event family. Are you in the market to purchase a home and a bit freaked out with the market right now? As someone who has been in your spot before, I'm familiar with what's going through your brain. And as a realtor, I've mastered the ins and outs of the buying process. When you work with me, you'll benefit from my experience, and together we'll work toward making sound, smart decisions for your future. And of course, talk a little Vol Sports along the way. Just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design. JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Thought about it. Should the National Signing Day shindig, should that be moved to the early signing period at Dead End Barbecue in December? And every time I bring it up to myself, every time we talk about it, I still get back to, nah, man, it's too close to Christmas. It's way too close to Christmas. Too close to the holidays. There's going to be traveling going on as it is here in the next couple days. It's just too close. And they're about to move this thing. They're about to move the early signing period. They need to move it. So we get to stick with tradition. February, first Wednesday in February. We get to stick with the tradition. Looking forward to it. Ben, are you where we are recruiting? Is this what you expected? Because I see a lot of people who expected Tennessee to be in a different position recruiting wise based on the season. Of course, Josh Heupel and company exceeded expectations. They also were behind when they came in, behind a year in building relationships, but they have had some time to build their own and form their own relationships. It has paid off in some other ways, and other ways it has not paid off. It just was too far behind. And one season may not be good enough. NIL deals are a part of players' decisions, And so maybe that factors in. I don't know exactly on every single kid and what their motivation and motives are. I don't know their true motives. Today will be the biggest load of BS that you're going to hear from players all year long. I hate to break it down that way, but it's true. You're going to hear players all over the country all day today tell you their second and third and fourth reason why they picked their schools. They're gonna BS you. They're not gonna tell you the real reason. They're not gonna tell you that two teams were equal, but it came down to the bag. They ain't gonna say that. So you're gonna hear the second and third real reasons of why kids are picking their school today. Sorry to break it down to you. I ain't gonna fluff it for you. But that's what we're gonna hear today. And that's the way it's always been. I just had a change of heart. I just knew that the Lord told me I needed to go here. I was praying with my family. Yeah, you was praying all right. And that bag dropped out of nowhere. So we're going to hear that today. And that's part of it. This is how the sausage is made. This is how the hot dogs are made. So embrace it. Understand it. Don't be surprised moving forward. But Ben, where Tennessee is sitting, recruiting-wise, are you surprised, or this is what you kind of expected? Are you positively surprised? Are you negatively surprised? How are you feeling about where we are right now? Did you think this is where we would be 6-8 months ago?
I'm not surprised either way.
Okay.
They are about where I expected them to be. And honestly, we have to remember, although today is much more of a national signing day than the February one is, like Tennessee's still going to add players after today, after this 3-day period, because it's just not today that makes up the early signing period. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Most everybody gets their work done on the first day, on Wednesday, but Tennessee's going to add players over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months. So, Swain, if I think that Tennessee's where I expected them to be right now at 7:38 on the first day of the early signing period, and it looks like in 22 minutes they're going to go get Justin Williams. There's some other guys that they could potentially add. They're going to go out and add somebody else before February as well.
What you say, little baby AP? What you say? Did you just drop a little nugget like AP?
Everybody knows Justin Williams has been trending towards Tennessee. Everybody knows that. If not, you don't pay attention to recruiting, and that's okay. Recruiting isn't everybody's thing, but if you pay attention to recruiting, you know that Justin Williams has been trending to Tennessee for weeks now. I mean, it's been over a month now. But, I mean, he's a top 250-ish player, a four-star running back from North Georgia. That's a big pickup. So, even with me sitting here right now and Tennessee having the 21st best recruiting class on Rivals, the 20th best recruiting class on 247, that's honestly a little bit better than maybe what I expected. I thought that they'd be kind of in the 20 to 25 range. Because, I mean, even you look over the course of history, and Derek Dooley and Pruitt and Butch, even like when they didn't have their top classes, even when it seemed like it wasn't going all that well, they still had top 25 classes just because it's Tennessee. Tennessee is going to naturally get you a top 15 to top 25 recruiting class. And I expected that at bare minimum. And now it looks like they're going to finish with a top 20 class and not just within that 20 to 25 range, which is what I expected back over the summer. And there's been a little bit of a disappointing close here the last couple of days. Jeffrey Umba was trending towards Tennessee after his official visit, but now he's not even coming to Tennessee, like within a week. And maybe that's a Tennessee decision because they did decide not to go visit him in home after the visit. Maybe that was on purpose. Maybe they made a decision there instead of just simply being out-recruited like it was with Marquise Gilbert, the top JUCO safety that picked Auburn on Monday afternoon. So there's been a little bit of a disappointing close here down the stretch with a couple of guys. But for the most part, given the circumstances, Tennessee's about where I expected. And I think with how today finishes, with the guys that they could go out and add on actual National Signing Day in February with like a James Pierce, then they're going to move up a couple spots there as well. So when you just look at the team ranking, they're about where I expected. When you dig a little deeper and you look at all the circumstances, I think they've done pretty well, given all the circumstances that we've detailed in great detail over the last couple of months.
I'm not surprised. I prepared myself for what we're seeing because we have been talking about the approach that this staff will have to take in the next couple of years building this roster. And we have pointed at the Rick Barnes approach, right? Where you're going to get players that maybe other schools don't want, but you're going to have to coach them up, develop them. You're going to have a positive culture and get the best out of them, and those results can come. And then when those results come, you're going to have to go out and then out-recruit the Floridas and the LSUs and the Kentuckys and the Ole Misses and the Missouris, and then you win some more, and then you're ready to go to the next level and go head-to-head more with Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State for recruits. So I've already kind of like told myself and prepared myself for this process. The process in 2013 where Tennessee struggled the first year, didn't get to a bowl game, and then whoosh, you had this top 10, top 8, top 6 class 2014, but that class was comprised of a lot of legacy players that were overrated, quite frankly. And this is why I take ratings from players who dad were good players and star players. Like, I take those with a grain of salt because we had a lot of players, 4-star players and blue chip players that had, big stars next to their names because of their last name. It is what it is. And then you had the 15 class that was strong as well. And so it really happened fast. And we got kind of spoiled. And then the next coach comes in, Jeremy Pruitt, and it happened too fast to the point where you raise eyebrows. Like, you can't come in like Hugh Freeze and just start swiping away all the 5 stars in year one. It's too obvious. It's too obvious. It's too obvious. You got cookie crumbs around your mouth. You ain't fooling anybody. I ain't do it. It's right there in your face. It's too obvious. So you gotta be smart. I think Kentucky's been very smart. Sorry, Ben. I think Kentucky has been very smart. They sprinkled in a little 5-star here and there. No one's gonna raise any eyebrows, and you just gotta be smart. You gotta be careful. And I know there's people listening going, Psh, what about that school? They're not being careful. What about that school? They're not being careful. But there's a time and a place when they were. Mm-hmm. And now they don't really have to be because they're winning. They're winning, and it's too late. Now, for a team like us trying to get to the next level, there's a plan that you have to put in place. You got to be careful. Clemson went through this. Like, Clemson wasn't gobbling up all these 5 stars like they have in the last couple of years. It was a process too, so you didn't raise too many eyebrows. So now with the NIL, it makes it a little bit easier. But I expect it to be where we are right now. You're gonna need more than just 1 year of overachievement. Mm-hmm. Like, you need one more year of putting out a good product, competing at a high level, having a better record. But I expect it for us to be where we are. And Tennessee football, Rodney Garner, his interview with Tennessee here. This is Casey. He talks about Jordan Phillips here. So here's old Rodney Garner.
Hi, everyone. I'm Casey Funderburg, joined by defensive line coach Rodney Garner. Coach, we are adding Jordan Phillips to this D-line. What is he going to add to this team?
We think Jordan will be a tremendous asset to us. You know, he has a tremendous skill set for an interior D lineman. We had the opportunity to actually work him out this summer in camp, and he just impressed our entire staff, you know, with his workout and then just how he goes about his business and his focus and his desire to really want to be a good football player. And he wanted to be a part of our program and what we're doing here at Tennessee. And he also brings experience, so how is that going to help you guys? Oh, yeah, well, obviously, it's good to have him here, this for bowl practice. He's actually practiced 2 days, so that will definitely give him an upper edge on some of the other guys that are coming in, just by him being able to participate in the bowl practice. So he'll probably get about 8 practices in before we leave here to report to Nashville. So I think that will pay dividends for him, going into fall camp.
Mm-hmm. And when you take a look at his tape, what are some of those things that you look at and you like? Well, obviously he's a big man that has initial quickness. He has short area quickness. He has power. He can anchor. He can create knockback. He has the ability to shed blocks and make plays. And his mom is from Memphis, so he has a little bit of some Tennessee ties as well. Yeah, his mother is from Memphis. I think she moved to Florida for her senior year in high school, to the Tallahassee area, and still has family over in Memphis. I think he's had 2 cousins that graduated from Tennessee, so it's good that he's continued the legacy here. Well, thank you, Coach. Jordan Phillips, welcome to Rocky Top.
Let's get to the Irish Networks hotline. Phone lines are lit up, so let's get some caller pace in here. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. That was Coach Gardner talking about Jordan Phillips, already on campus, already practicing. Let's get to Turkey Man. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Did you hear that little segment that Lane Kiffin had on yesterday about recruiting?
I saw the video. I saw the video. I did not watch the video. I saw people commenting on his video. I need to go and look at it. We had Tennessee Prime yesterday, so I was preparing for Tennessee Prime. I need to go and look at the quotes maybe from the video or watch the video during the break. Well, you check that out, and then I'll listen to your comments on it because it was right on line what you talked about earlier. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Hey, thank you, Turkey Man. Bye-bye. Note to self, watch the Lane Kiffin video during the break. Who's next?
We've got Jason and then Christian in Johnson City.
Jason, man, heck of a name. Good morning.
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are y'all?
Man, wonderful, man. Hope you are too.
Yeah, doing great. Thanks. Yeah, just had maybe a contrarian take on this class and going forward. I when you look at how the class was formed with, during the course of the time where, the staff was constrained by both lack of the ability to build relationships and then also, of course, the NCAA cloud hanging over it. And then, the kind of guys that they got committed in who they've now had to fight off the Georgias, the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Floridas for, everybody from Jordan Phillips to Squirrel White, even you saw Dylan Sampson saying Bama and LSU made a late push. And then now the guys that we're fighting for at the end with, more of the big boys. And you're going to end up in the top 20 with a bunch of, frankly, guys who can probably step in with some JUCOs and some skill guys that Heupel will get ready to go. I think you take that, you take the guys who are coming back with obviously Hooker first, who knows about Kade, but you've got 4/5 of your starting line coming back. I think there's an opportunity to hit in the portal, and I don't know, I'm not saying necessarily get 10 guys, but get a couple of plug-and-play guys that, a linebacker, a defensive line, maybe an offensive lineman, depending on what they think about Mincy. And you could overachieve to a much different degree than even you did this year, the way the schedule sets up with Pitt without, Dan Marino, second coming. You got LSU, who knows what they're going to look like, who knows what even Florida's going to look like. And, of course, the old Hubs, see it to believe it, or believe it to whatever he says. right? But still, I think there's a chance that Heupel could look at this upcoming year and the schedule and the roster and say, let's go hard at the portal and try to get to that kind of 10-2 level and take that leap like, Coach Barnes did in his third or fourth year. And then to your point before, the 23 class is already set up in a much different way than the 22 class. So yeah, I'm bummed we're going to probably miss on some guys, but in the end, if you miss on guys that go to Vanderbilt or shoot even in Auburn or Florida State, I don't know that those are necessarily big-time difference makers. And in the world of the portal where you just need to show you can win, I think it's a different deal. So that's my take on that, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Hey, thank you, man. Good points. Really, really thank you for the phone call. I think the portal makes this thing not as doom and gloom as some people want to make it. Before the portal, you have a class that's sitting there at 25. No one's doing backflips if you are at Tennessee. But the portal makes you say, hey, all right, maybe we can address that need with a 3-year guy in the portal than a high school 4-year guy. Tennessee was able to go out and get a quarterback at the end of spring football with 3 years left of eligibility. And I'm talking about Joe Milton. I'm not saying Joe Milton lit the world on fire, but I am bringing him up because Tennessee was able to do that. So you were able to go out and get a player right after spring football. Now you've had a season under your belt. You can point to what you have done in your first year. Now those players in the portal can see it. You have film. And if you go out and get a 3-year player in the portal, that miss that happened in early December, mid-December, doesn't sting as much. I like where Jason's going. I'm not making excuses or trying to make myself feel good or better that Tennessee is not, swinging for the fences and hitting home runs left and right. But I know where we are as a program. I know there's levels. I know there's steps to take. And the portal makes it a lot easier for us because we are a national brand. Josh Heupel is a coach I think can draw in players because of his genuine approach. I think Tennessee will be attractive. Now, the portal makes it easier for us. The NIL is a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword because we do have the resources to be able to bring in players using our NIL, but other teams do as well. So the portal, the NIL, man, it brings a different level of perspective and a viewpoint looking at signing day than ever before. So, yeah, you might miss on a kid today. That's all right. You can still address that position in a couple months. All right, who's next?
We have Christian in Johnson City.
You told me that already, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on over here, man. I'm sorry. Christian, good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
Man, wonderful.
I just had a question. With us losing Javonte Payton and the possibility of Cedric Tillman going to the draft because he hasn't announced officially whether or not he'll be back, are there any players in this class that you could see kind of like yourself or Meacham that could step in right away and give us some production on the outside? And on top of that, is there anybody that we should be looking out for that maybe hasn't been on the radar yet that could possibly sign with UG today? I was glad to get out there and let you guys get back to it.
Thank you. Appreciate that phone call. Ben, I'll let you answer the second part about somebody signing that maybe we didn't expect. I know we talked about several guys at the beginning of the show. So if you've been with us ever since the beginning, this is not going to be new because we kind of already touched on it. But to answer the question, are there guys that, maybe under the radar, maybe we have talked about in detail leading up to today, but maybe you mentioned earlier, and for those that just now joining us?
Yeah, those names that would fall under that category would be Keontae Scott, the JUCO DB, considered by some to be the top JUCO corner in the country. He's expected to make a decision around 11 a.m. Trending towards Auburn So I guess it would be a bit of a surprise if he did end up signing with Tennessee. Tyree West, the Georgia defensive lineman, down to Tennessee and Florida State. And I would consider that a surprise just because there was so much Florida State momentum going into his official visit at Tennessee this past weekend. James Pierce is somebody that Tennessee leads for but is not expected to sign. He's a 4-star edge rusher from the state of North Carolina. A lot of people in his camp are pushing for him to wait until February to see what schools come calling after they maybe miss on some quote bigger prospects in the early signing period. So he's not expected to sign, but there is a small chance that he does sign. So I would be surprised if he did end up signing. And if he did choose to sign this week, it would be with Tennessee. So Keontae Scott, JUCO corner, Tyree West, the Georgia defensive lineman, and then James Pierce, the North Carolina edge rusher, would be the surprises. And then the ultimate surprise would be Demario Tolan, who is signing at 10:30 a.m. He's been committed to LSU, took visits to Tennessee. Tennessee had a lot of momentum with Demario Tolan, and then he went back to LSU this weekend, and that momentum seemed to be destroyed. And he seems to be dead set on ending up at LSU. So if he were to end up at Tennessee, that would be a huge surprise at this point.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And then
receivers that you think could have an instant impact if Cedric Tillman were to declare.
Now, I don't think Cedric Tillman will declare. I think Cedric Tillman is coming back. But for me, the most comfortable receiver, and Meacham didn't play his first year. He redshirted his first year and then came back his redshirt freshman year, had a nice year in his first year playing. Just want to make sure that's mentioned. But, guys, I like Square White. I mean, he's the one I feel the most confident speaking on in terms of coming in and having an instant impact and being a contributor. I mean, we saw second-year guys. Play earlier this season and then get replaced by vets. So is it just our younger players just wasn't ready and they're mature or immature, just wasn't ready? Or is it a situation where young guys, it takes them time to get going in this system? I don't know that answer yet. Maybe this class will tell us more of what to expect with young receivers. But all I know is young receivers got replaced. Will Squirrel White be able to come in and do his thing? I think from a talent standpoint, he should. Chaz Nimrod looks like he's going to be the Cedric Tillman replacement. He has a game like Cedric Tillman. If you ask me, I watch his film. He reminds me a little bit of Cedric Tillman. I look at Caleb Webb, 6'2.5", 6'3". Some sites got him at 7 foot. It's all over the place. But he's a big body, nice ball skills. For me, I feel the most confident and comfortable saying Squirrel White right now. I watched a little bit of Caleb Webb. I need to see more. But Squirrel White's a guy that I think his game translates right now. Right now. You can't teach quickness. You can't teach that speed right now.
There's going to be an opportunity for all four receivers coming in to play early. Not saying that they will, but there's an opportunity
for sure
for all four of them.
Cam Miller,
Chaz Nimrod, all four of them have a potential to play early.
Yep. It's about what you do when you get here. It's about what you do when you get here. How do you take in the information? How do you process information? How do you compete? How coachable are you? How mature are you? How focused are you on football, or are you trying to chase girls your first year, or guys if you want to do that too. But how focused are you? And I don't think the coaches will know that until the guys get here. You never know. You never know. But I do feel the most confident Squirrel White. Am I biased because he's from Alabama? Probably. Probably. But the film don't lie. The eye in the sky don't lie. Go watch this game. You'll see what I'm talking about. 865-255-03. Let's get back to the Irish Networks hotline. Let's bring in Chip. Chip, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
Man, we are blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Just real quick, I think that obviously with this coaching staff, they can do a lot more with less. So not too terribly concerned about this class coming in. I think, I think it's great depending on, when you look at where we've been past couple of years and everything, I think we're doing good. My concern with this class is Missouri, Kentucky, South Carolina. How are these teams, Arkansas, how are these teams ahead of us recruiting? I know it's not everything, but guys, look at those classes over the past 3 or 4 years. They're in the Arkansas, South Carolina. I mean, they're down in the 40s and 50s, and now suddenly they have made this roaring comeback. Kentucky looks like they could possibly finish with a top 10 class. I know they've been doing pretty good on the recruiting front, but I don't know. Am I missing something there? I don't understand how they jumped, or is all that going to shake loose and things are going to change after signing day? I don't know, but I just ask you guys about those, the order of the SEC right now and what's going on with, some of these programs that typically don't do great in recruiting, at least over the past 3 or 4 years. And I'll hang up and listen. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Chip. And you mentioned Arkansas. Arkansas is at 20 commits. Tennessee's at 17. Arkansas has 5 4-stars. Tennessee has 4 4-stars and have the same number of 3-stars. I don't know how that math adds up, but that's what I'm looking at. And in the last 30 seconds, that's going to change because Ben Justin Williams just put on a Tennessee hat and made it official that he is a volunteer.
Yep, Justin Williams, a 4-star running back, has committed to Tennessee over Auburn and will sign with the Vols. Tennessee going to bring in 2 running backs in this class, and they've got a speedster in Dylan Sampson, who kind of fits the Jalen Wright mold, and now they've got a bruiser. Tennessee has needed a bigger back the last 2 years, and Josh Heupel identified that pretty quickly. And Justin Williams is that bigger back. A lot to like about Justin Williams, and he is a Vol.
That should make things a lot better.
In what regard?
Well, I mean, Chip was speaking about Arkansas, Kentucky, and Missouri, and then Tennessee. Boom, just got a 4-star, so that will bump Tennessee up in the rankings. And this is just me. I'm not telling you how to think. And I would say the same thing if the roles were reversed. But as I look at these rankings, and right now I'm looking at 247.
How dare you?
Hey, man.
You're not a real friend. You're a fraud.
I can't be biased. As I'm looking at the rankings, Tennessee's at 20, Arkansas is at 17, Carolina's at 16. Carolina has 22 commits. Tennessee only has 17. So that's 5-player difference. Auburn's right there at 21 with 15 commits. Missouri has 15 commits. They got 6 4-stars and 8 3-stars. They have the 1 5-star player. If it wasn't for that 5-star player, they would be 16, 17, high teens with us. Kentucky's at 12, 7 4-stars, 9 3-stars, and 1 5-star. The difference between 15 and 20 and 15 to 10 is like 1 or 2 players.
Yes, and I actually wanted to bring this up. It's funny that that Chip called in with this. I wanted to bring this up before we got to our string of callers, so I appreciate Chip giving me an easy transition to bring it up. And that has been a big gripe, Swain. Kentucky and Missouri being ahead of Tennessee and some other schools like Michigan State, Arkansas, South Carolina, Boston College, Purdue. And I'm looking at the rivals rankings. And I apologize if I regurgitate anything you said. I was sharing something on social media for VolQuest. But with Kentucky, like, okay, they have 18 commitments. Tennessee now has 18. And yes, technically they have a higher ranked recruiting class, but Kentucky chose two decisions that Tennessee was not willing to make under Josh Heupel. They got the Wade twins because they were able, or they were willing, I should say, to bring in Destin Wade as a quarterback. The Wade twins were coming to Tennessee until Kentucky assured them that Destin Wade would get a shot at quarterback. Tennessee wasn't willing to do that. So we'll see here in 2 to 3 years whether that was the right decision for Tennessee and whether it was the right decision by Kentucky. Because that, to some, that kind of feels like a Jawan Jennings situation with Destin Wade of like, okay, yeah, you want to play quarterback, we'll give you a shot in the spring, and you'll quickly move to another position. They wanted to go somewhere that guaranteed them a spot at quarterback or a try at quarterback, and Tennessee wasn't willing to guarantee that. So that's a difference in 2 4-stars right there. And we'll see which school made the right decision. Another one, there's a receiver from the mid-state that is ranked very highly, and he's been touted as the highest wide receiver signee in Kentucky football history, or maybe it's just the Mark Stoops era. I think it's Kentucky football history, the highest ranked wide receiver signee. Well, Tennessee didn't want to bring that young man into their locker room. A lot of schools didn't want to bring that young man into their locker room. So that's another big difference in the recruiting ranking right there. And in a couple of years, we'll see whether Tennessee was making the right decision, did make the right decision in bringing in that young man. We'll see if Kentucky was right for bringing in that young man. We just don't know as of today. Like it's not as simple as Kentucky's out recruiting Tennessee. Kentucky made decisions that Tennessee wasn't willing to make. And we'll see in a couple of years as to whether which school made the right decision. And then, like with Missouri, they have one of the absolute best receivers in the country, Luther Burden, committed.
Luther.
And he is a stud. He is a 5-star. He's in their backyard. And I realize Walter Nolan is in Tennessee's backyard, but there is a significant difference in Luther Burden and Walter Nolan. Like, I'm sorry, but as of today, if I had to pick one way or the other, I don't think Walter Nolan lives up to the 5-star billing. Luther Burden will live up to the 5-star billing. He is an absolute stud, and he was in Missouri's backyard. And don't get me wrong, Eli Drinkwitz is recruiting really well for Missouri right now, but you look at their top guys, and 4-star from St. Charles, Missouri, 4-star from St. Louis, Missouri, 4-star from St. Louis, Missouri, 4-star from Lee Summit, Missouri. He went out and he won his state. And there are guys that Tennessee missed out on its in-state recruiting class this cycle. But there's also some guys that are ranked highly in the state and Tennessee chose not to pursue. And that's another situation as to we'll see who made the right decision in the upcoming years. I mean, it's not as black and white as why are these other teams just out recruiting Tennessee? Why is Tennessee behind this team in recruiting, in the recruiting rankings? Why is Tennessee behind Boston College and Purdue? Well, Boston College has 22 commitments. Purdue has 21 commitments. Tennessee has 17. Tennessee's out recruiting Clemson. Anybody want to talk about that? But oh wait, Clemson only has 13 commits. Tennessee has 17. Like, it's not just black and white as to teams being in front or behind Tennessee. There is nuance. There are reasons. There are decisions that are made within a football program that don't reflect in the recruiting rankings because their decisions aren't based on the recruiting rankings. Michigan State, 15th. Well, they've got 21 commits. Iowa State, ahead of Tennessee, 21 commits. So it's not just black and white. South Carolina is 13th on Rivals, which Tennessee is 21st with 17 commitments prior to Justin Williams picking Tennessee. Well, South Carolina has 22 commits. Tennessee has 17.
Yeah.
So naturally they're going to be higher.
Yeah.
Just don't have a simpleton take. If you want to question how good Josh Heupel is going to be recruiting, that's fine. I think he's going to be a good recruiter. I don't know if he's going to be good enough to win at a championship level. That time will tell. But just don't have a simpleton take, please.
Here's what I will recognize.
Not saying that Chip and Jackson did. Fair question by Chip.
Yeah, here's what we need to recognize. When you are a competitor, you want to win in everything. And it means something when you look at a list, when you look at a ranking, and you see Tennessee below programs that you think Tennessee shouldn't be behind. And the natural reaction is to question it. The natural reaction is like, whoa, what's going on? Tennessee should never be behind Kentucky in anything football related. Like, that's your initial reaction. I get it. Trust me, I understand. But after you have that initial reaction, stop and think about what Ben just said. Because if you follow recruiting deep, then you know that story about the Wade twins. Because that's two players. That would have changed a lot right there. Tennessee would probably be in a different spot.
Would change a lot for Tennessee and Kentucky.
Yeah, so there's a story, and we'll see how this thing plays out in a couple years when these players are juniors. Like 2018 class, this time 3 years ago, we didn't have this conversation about the 2018 class that we have now. Now we look at the bust and the guys who are not on this team, that are not producing, because it took time for us to come to that realization. And the same thing applies here. All right, let's take a break right quick. I'm going to check out this Lane Kiffin video. And we'll come back from break. We got two callers on hold, waiting patiently. 865-200-5503. Hour 2 is brought to you by Action 247, Tennessee's only legal sports book. Awesome promotion going on right now. You better take advantage of it because I don't know if they're going to extend it. 100% match on your first deposit, folks. First deposit up to $800. They will match it. New customers only. Just use the promo code Swain Event. That's all you have to do. Today's special on Action is you bet $50 on the spread in the Mavs-Lakers game, and Action will give you $2 in free bets for every point your team star player scores. So if are you on Team LeBron or are you on Team Luka? Team LeBron, Team Luka. So if you place the bet on the Lakers, that will apply for LeBron. If you place your bet on the Mavs, this will apply for Luka. Bet $50 on the spread in the Mavs-Lakers game, and they will give you $2 in free bets for every point the team star player scores. So we know Luka's going to go crazy. We know LeBron, he's been on a tear as of late. So that's going to be an awesome promotion right now for my Action 247 bettors. Don't miss it. If you're sitting on the sideline, get in the game. Great time to get started with Action. Follow them on Twitter, TN Action 247. New customers, 100% match on your first deposit up to $800 using the promo code Swain Event. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Be right back.
that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Good morning, Swain Event family. Several of you, like Ben McKee, have reached out to me for real estate assistance this year, and I want to say thank you. I appreciate your trust in me to ask questions and help you navigate the real estate world.
That's right, Jennifer. Buying a home is a scary process, especially for a first-time home buyer. Jennifer recently helped my wife and I buy our first home and made the entire process seamless. Her willingness to go above and beyond is what sets her apart.
As always, feel free to give me a call. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
National Signing Day here on the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, live from the Low T Center Studio, hour 2 here on the program. Justin Williams, 4-star running back, has committed to Tennessee with intentions on signing with Tennessee. I'm still nervous. This is Auburn we're talking about here. So let me know when he signs, man. That's when it's real. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's get to Don. Don, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Happy signing day.
Happy signing day to you.
Now you got me all tore up inside. I thought Justin Williams was done.
He is. Swain's just messing around.
It's Auburn, man. Did he sign yet?
Okay.
Quit freaking people out.
I ain't freaking people out. I'm just saying it's Auburn. I've seen this before. This is Auburn.
Even after they committed?
That's true.
Yes.
The day right when they're signing the dotted line?
Remember Devontae Lambert?
Yes.
JUCO player.
But I don't recall him doing it after he committed on signing day.
Man, commitment don't mean anything.
On signing day?
Hey, man. It's Auburn. I don't try. Hey.
You're being extra.
Cup is on. Sorry, Don. Go ahead.
That's okay. Hey, before we talk more about recruiting, you guys are discussing the fact Jason had not seen Christmas Vacation. You don't have to search hard. It was on back-to-back on Fox movie or TNT or something the other night because I watched it again for the, 38 years, at least the 61st time, I guess. Now, Jason, I know you're a good Christian young man. So I know, talking about that movie, your favorite scene was not in the mall with Mary.
I have not seen it yet, but, when I do, I'll have to reference this, this comment from you.
It is a little nippy outside this morning, Don.
Yes. Didn't you say it was nippy outside? Okay.
You can't see the lines, can you, Russ?
We all stop.
Nope.
We all stop. I haven't seen them. I don't know that part. We all stop.
That's one of my favorite parts.
No, it's it's a hilarious movie. Even though, like you, I was sitting here just saying the lines for him as it went. It's pretty interesting. But go back to this recruiting game. And I know you're attached to Rivals, which mainly grades on like star average. But a couple of days ago, I was looking at the 247 where they break it down by not just total points, but it'd have like 88.93, 90, 90.37. And the difference when I was looking at some of the SEC classes ahead of us, I mean, come on, if it's 89.99 versus 88, 0.95, I mean, over the whole class, how much difference is that?
Not much.
No. If you're filling your needs, that's the thing. And talking about recruiting and how it bears out, and you guys are saying, well, where's some of these players from 2018? Just go back last year. Right before Pruitt gets fired, where were we sitting? Number 2, number 3. Where were we after signing day? And where were we a couple weeks after signing day when all of a sudden we're not even taking guys that were, pretty highly thought of. One's playing in Memphis right now because whatever. It can be grades, it can be attitude, it can be locker room, it can be whatever. And did you notice, guys, that a couple of those players that were highly ranked and then they left at the last minute or didn't sign on signing day and then decided to go somewhere over the next few days, like one that went to Maryland, highly thought of linebacker, he's in the transfer portal. So what do we miss?
Nothing with him. Terrence Lewis is who you were referencing.
Mm-hmm. And so you got to look at that. And, of course, they're kind of behind the 8 ball like we were last year. Right now, as far as recruiting Florida, that may be the biggest, worst disaster for a highly thought of, highly ranked team I've seen in some time.
Yeah, I just need this thing to play out a little bit more. I mean, and what I mean by that is, let me see when they get to school. You really don't know how good a class is going to be until 2 or 3 years later. And I'm not saying this because we are sitting where we are sitting. You can say the same thing if we had a top 5 class or a top 10 class. You can say the same thing. You can just take this stuff with a grain of salt. And my eyes are paying attention to guys that Tennessee's able to get in the portal. I did watch the video, Lane Kiffin, during the break. Lane is 100% right. Kids are going to places where they feel like they have the best NIL deal.
Where they will make the most money.
Simple as that.
It's free agency.
It really is. And listen, Ole Miss is in the middle of outbidding and things too. But that we knew that's what it was going to be. We know that's what it is. Lane's kind of the first coach to come out and say it, even though he is participating in trying to outbid other schools to get players. But that's what it is. That's what it is. So let's go back to the phones. Let's get to Justin. Justin, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Man, great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I thought that whole Lane thing was pretty funny. He's sitting there complaining about that in a press conference, yet he's out taking pictures with recruits in front of I think it was like a Porsche or something. So,
yeah,
well, a little conflicting on the messages, but that Justin Williams, awesome pickup. Really excited about that guy and a bunch of other guys we got in this class. One thing that I'm going to be paying attention to over the next few years, and I hope it's something that definitely changes for the staff, is that we're able to keep the majority of our class together for a longer period of time. It just seems like Tennessee's done a good job of maybe getting some highly ranked classes, and this was, God, even before the portal. But, I mean, you'd see half the class, 3/4 of the class end up leaving and don't finish their time at Tennessee. So I guess what does it matter what your class is if you're having to watch a bunch of them walk out the door, or at least, the highly rated guys. And as far as the ratings go, I don't know if you guys have covered it yet, but there was a player that was committed to Auburn. I think was it Bobo?
Yep, the son of Mike Bobo, offensive lineman. I think his first name's Drew.
Drew, thank you. Yep. And one day he's committed to Auburn as a 3-star. The next day he decommits, flips to Georgia, and miraculously ends up as a 4-star. So
I think they changed it back because I looked this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they changed it back, man. Because I actually looked while we were doing the show because trust me, I was gonna bring that up.
They did change it back.
Yeah, they changed it back.
So they caught enough flack for doing that they had egg on their face and had to reverse it.
And I'm not going to say what I'm about to say because it's 247. But that's why you should not live and die by the recruiting rankings.
Which is kind of the point I was trying to get to. So, just know that we got guys in with talent, with potential, and we definitely have a staff that's going to develop them, and let's hope they all stay for a long period of time. You guys take care. Be talking to you soon.
'Tis the season to be merry, my friend.
I appreciate that, man. Since we have been back, there's been a couple guys that have signed, and one of those players is Christian Harrison, the defensive back from Atlanta, Georgia, who is the son of Rodney Harrison. And at some point, man, we'll say that Rodney is the dad of Christian Harrison because Christian will be balling out and making a name for himself. But it is what it is for right now. But he is officially a volunteer signing this morning. Christian Harrison. Need DB help.
Yep, and he'll play corner for Tennessee. He'll play corner, and if you're a corner signing with Tennessee, which I guess there's only really 2 corners signing with Tennessee, at least at this point. Maybe they get a third and Keontae Scott a little later this morning. They've got 3 DBs coming in as of right now. One of them, though, Jordan Thomas, the young man from Montgomery Catholic Preparatory in Montgomery, he was recruited as a safety. So Christian Harrison, Tennessee recruited him as a corner, and then Desmond Williams, the JUCO from East Central Community College in Decatur, Mississippi, Tennessee recruited him as a corner as well. So right now you got 2 corners coming in, and the point that I was getting to, like I mentioned earlier about receivers, Swain, receivers coming in have a chance to play early. I think corners coming in this class have a chance to play early as well.
For sure, man. And that's usually the way it is, man, because you're playing so many DBs. You got an opportunity to play on special teams, kind of earn the trust of the coaches in that area of the football game. I mean, 5 or 6 guys can play at once. So great opportunity for Christian Harrison. And I expect him to be, a guy that is developed more than most high school players because quite frankly, his father.
He's kind of like a coach's son.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Van Jefferson hit Ole Miss, and then he went to Florida. He always seemed like he was a year, 2, 3 years above everyone else because his dad was an NFL receiver and his dad's NFL coach. And Sean Jefferson is one of my favorite guys that I encountered during the NFL Combine. Like, we hit it off in a huge way. I forgot what team he was coaching for. He might have been coaching with the Lions at the time. But, like, he was my favorite coach that I interacted with during the NFL Combine. But there's no surprise why Van Jefferson always looked like he was prepared to be a wide receiver because of his father. Rodney Harrison playing as great as he did in the NFL, Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer. You better believe that Christian Harrison is going to have an advantage in that area. So that's one that signed while we've been talking and taking great phone calls. The other is Addison Nichols, offensive lineman from also Georgia, brings size and toughness and smarts, and there's a lot of ties to the University of Tennessee with Addison Nichols and his family, and that was a big get couple months ago. He was kind of the first big commitment where he could have went to any other SEC school outside of probably Alabama or Georgia.
I don't think he was high up on the list of Georgia.
Yeah.
And not knocking him as a player in that regard. Georgia's just recruiting at a different level.
Yeah. But he's a good player. I think we out-recruited
I think it was
was it Clemson or North Carolina?
I think it was North Carolina was in there. Pulling up my notes. Let's see. Clemson, Florida State was in there. North Carolina, USC, Ohio State, and Florida State.
Gotcha.
So UNC, USC, Ohio State, FSU. Yes, please. I'll take him all day long. I'm splitting hairs, but I would say Taven Jackson was the first big-time recruit to get on board. He committed back in April, and then Addison was in August, but he was one of the first. No, he was the second. So
I don't know if Taven was big-time then. Taven was just a little 3-star. Then he got that bump.
The moment he committed Tennessee, he got
the bump, man.
He got that bump. Let me throw a real shocker here in between mentioning the signees who have signed since we last updated. South Carolina picked up a 4-star linebacker a couple of days ago, Jayshawn Barham, and everybody was raving about Shane Beamer and South Carolina for picking up this young man. 4 days later, he has signed with Maryland.
Wow.
4-star linebacker commits to South Carolina. 4 days later, he signs with Maryland.
Wow. That's different right there.
But on Addison Nichols, I think of the offensive lineman that Tennessee is currently bringing in, I think he's the most ready to play. Don't know that he will play, especially if Kade Mays returns. Darnell Wright's going to be your left tackle. Your interior of the O-line is set. There's not really a starting spot up for grabs, and there's not a 5-star lineman coming in that's really going to push the current starters. But of the O-linemen coming in, Addison Nichols is the most ready to play.
I got Alex Golish here speaking about Addison Nichols, and let's hear a little bit from offensive coordinator Alex Golish on Mr. Addison Nichols. Let's see what he has to say. He's offensive coordinator. He also is a tight ends coach. Always like hearing from the coordinators when we're talking about particular players. And Addison Nichols, like I mentioned before, there's ties, man. There's ties to the University of Tennessee. He's the first big recruit, so to speak, I'm using air quotes, that picked Tennessee. So let's hear from Addison
Everyone,
Nichols
I'm
here.
Casey Funderburg, joined by offensive coordinator Alex Golish. Coach, we are adding Addison Nichols to this offensive line. So what does he bring to this team?
Yeah, a lot. Just an incredible young man, has a bunch of different interests, and we're lucky that Tennessee and football are two of those. But just an absolutely incredible football player, has been for a really long time. Size, toughness, smart, all the things you're looking for in an offensive lineman.
What are some other skills that you guys saw in him when you looked at his tape?
Yeah, just the ability to finish plays. You know, he finishes on top of people and really aggressive in the run game, really good in the pass game, really about as ready of an offensive lineman as you'll find in terms of mentally and physically prepared to come in and play. Comes from a great program in GAC down in Atlanta, has won a ton of football games, has competed at a really high level. But really excited when he came up this summer. We got a chance to watch him work out, and man, oh man, it was really exciting to see just how advanced he is for his age and the ability to hopefully get a chance to play early.
We saw this season where we need depth in the offensive line, so having a guy coming in that's already mentally tough and already there physically, how nice is that for our offensive line?
Yeah, I think for him, just the next step is going to be learning the system, learning what we do, and he's got the best offensive line coach in the country here in Glenn Ellerby, and I think for him, the ability to learn it as quick as he can is going to give him a chance to compete.
He also has a lot of family members who went to Tennessee as well, so a lot of UT ties.
Yeah, Mom grew up here in Knoxville, and we had a lot of support from his grandparents who live here, and we leaned on them heavily in the recruiting process with that.
All right, thanks, Coach. Addison Nichols, welcome to Rocky Top.
Love it.
The Eagle Scout, as Kade Mays pointed out last night on Tennessee Prime, which if you missed last night's Tennessee Prime, it's in the podcast feed, SoundCloud, Apple. Go back and listen to it, kind of get an insight to Kade Mays' decision-making process in terms of potentially leaving for the NFL. Tyler Barron addresses his transfer rumors. Tennessee Prime is in our podcast feed if you missed it.
Yeah, we still got to get to that, man. Today has been dominated by recruiting, but we will most certainly get to Kade Mays and Tyler Barron potentially being on this roster next year, and how that could really change the expectations going into next season, man. I mean, really can. Tennessee also got pen to paper from offensive lineman Messiah Reddick from Detroit, Michigan.
Man, he's nasty.
Those Tim Banks connections from the Midwest is paying off for Tennessee. So Messiah Reddick needs some beef, and this is one of the things that you can point to as a positive for this staff. They have guys all around. They have ties in the South, in the Southeast, in the Southwest. Ron John Murray, his time at Texas. You have Tim Banks that has ties to the Atlantic Coast during his time recruiting at Penn State, along with the Midwest. He's from that area there in Michigan, I think Detroit area. So
yep.
he has
goes to
those
Cass
ties.
Tech, which is a big-time school up there in Detroit.
So big.
To me, he's another Javonte Spraggins. He needs some work. He's a developmental piece, but he's got beef. He's got a nasty streak to him. He has a basketball background, which I really like.
He's athletic.
Yes. So I really like the potential of Messiah Reddick. He'll play guard. He's an interior lineman. So he reminds me of Javonte Spraggins in just terms of the beef and the nastiness in which he plays for. And then Tennessee needs more of that.
For sure. 865-255-03 is our telephone number to the Irish Network's hotline.
Tennessee has also gotten pen to paper from Caleb Perry, a linebacker from Kentucky. A very intriguing prospect, one of the more intriguing prospects in this class, a versatile player. Tennessee sees him lining up at multiple spots in the front seven, has a lot of length, speed, he's physical. He even played some offense in high school. He's a linebacker, but was timed at a 4.55 second 40 over the summer during Tennessee's camp, and he was a camp product for Tennessee. Came and camped with Tennessee over the summer, got an offer, picked Tennessee. He's less than 15 miles from Kentucky's campus in Georgetown, Kentucky. So very intriguing prospect. I'm really curious to see how he plays out. He lined up as linebacker, safety on the defense, played part-time roles at running back, quarterback, and receiver on offense. So athletic, quick, very intelligent. Word on the street is that he's very coachable, a great kid all around. So Caleb Perry, interesting. And then the other one, Swain, that just came in as well is Desmond Williams, the JUCO corner. The JUCO corner that we mentioned briefly earlier this hour when we were talking about corners that could potentially play earlier. He committed to Tennessee last week, picking Tennessee over Mississippi State. He'll have 3 years to play his final 2 seasons of eligibility. He'll be an early enrollee, so he'll be here in the coming weeks. And Tennessee views him as a corner, could also help as a returner. And according to his coach there in JUCO, excellent tackler, really good ball skills, plays zone coverage really well, has really good instincts. I mentioned his ability as a returner, can put him back deep to return kickoffs or punt returns, a natural playmaker. This season he had 42 tackles, 7 interceptions, and 14 pass breakups, averaged 50 yards on 3 punt returns, one of which went 81 yards for a touchdown, and then he also returned 13 kickoffs for an average of 23.4 yards. So that's something that's a little underrated right there, is his ability to return kicks. With Velus Jones moving on, Tennessee's going to need a new kick returner, and Desmond Williams, not only are you getting a JUCO corner, but maybe a guy that can be an impact kick returner for you as well.
Yeah, that's what you look at when you're evaluating players is, how many phases of the football game can they affect? You certainly want to get a guy that's good on offense, good on defense at their natural position, but do you see them as a guy that can affect multiple phases? Does he have elite speed? Can we put him as a gunner on punt team? That speed will allow us to force teams to fair catch. That's hidden yardage that we were able to gobble up this year with Velus Jones as a punt returner that you want to prevent if you are punt coverage. So you want multiple guys. I mean, you want guys that can do multiple things, can affect multiple phases of the game, and a guy like D. Williams can. Like, even if he's not returning, he can. But it adds a little bit more that he can return punts. Mm-hmm. He can return kicks. So this is good for Tennessee. You got a plug-and-play guy coming in.
Tennessee's got a couple of potential kick returners next year as well to replace Velus. Deshaun Rucker, he's a speedster. Maybe he gets a crack back there. He was a true freshman corner this season for Tennessee. You've got Jalen Wright, who was a really good kick returner in high school as well, and we are very well of his speed and athleticism. So it seems Velus is going to be missed as a kick returner, but it seems like you do have some guys in the wings who have that natural ability to return kicks, which seems simple, but it's really not.
No, it's not simple at all. It is not the easiest thing to do, which is why everybody can't do it. And when you have someone that can do it, it just takes so much pressure off you as a coaching staff, because you don't have to be as great on offense, as great on defense when you have a guy like that that can change the complexity of a football game with run return. So that's what makes Velus so special, and that's why he'll have opportunity to play at the next level. And man, he can be big time.
Yeah, I mean, to your point about changing the game with one return, Tennessee doesn't have a chance with Joe Milton at the end of the game against Ole Miss if it wasn't for Velus's punt return.
That's right.
I mean, he picked up, 20, 30 yards on that punt return, got Tennessee to about midfield, and allowed an opportunity for Tennessee to go make a play to try and win the game.
Jordan Thomas has sent in his paper through the fax machine. Not really. We still doing fax machines? They still doing that?
I think so. Maybe there's a way that you can do it over your phone now. Seems like you can scan everything and send it somewhere. But Jordan Thomas, I talked to him yesterday, and he's the kid at the school in Montgomery that doesn't allow kids to graduate early. So he actually wasn't even really – he's not even having a signing day celebration. He just kind of signed his papers and sent them in, and he's going to have his signing day celebration in February on National Signing Day. So he didn't even know if Tennessee was going to put it out or not. He didn't care if they did. It's just today was just kind of ho-hum for him, and he'll have his signing day celebration in February.
865-250-503 is our telephone number, the Iris Networks hotline. Man, we are flowing and going here. Hour 2 of the Swain event, man, we're approaching hour 3. Still got to talk about Kade Mays, Tyler Barron, their comments from Tennessee Prime. But today is National Signing Day, keeping you updated, giving you a breakdown on each player who has made it official that they are volunteers. Be right back. Swain event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
Voted Best Barbecue in City View Magazine and a top 100 barbecue restaurant in the country, Dead End is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering and local delivery with Valet Gourmet. That's right, you can have Dead End brought to you. Can't think of the spread for your next event? Get Dead End to cater it. Check them out online, deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Last night, Tennessee Prime, Tyler Barron, Kade Mays. Austin Price didn't waste any time. First question was, all right, Kade, what you doing, man? All right, Tyler Barron, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Kade, you leaving? You staying? You going to the NFL? You're staying for your last year? What's going on? Tyler, what are you doing, man? There's rumors about you transferring, and what's up? We'll start with Kade Mays. Yesterday during the program, we had Austin Price on in the third hour, and he said that it was a 25% chance that Kade could return. 25% chance. I think after tonight or last night, Kade might be at like 30%. In no way that it's still 25%, if it was 25% going into last night, because Kade got so much love from Miss Melissa up there, who got a figurine made of Kade. That takes a lot of love, a lot of passion to sit there and do that, man. Speaking of that, shout out to Mr. Gatewood, man. I still got mine over here in my office where he did one for me. So a lot of time goes into that. A lot of time. And Miss Melissa got that made. Her friend made it for Kade because she thought that was it. Well, she thinks that's it. I promised on the show yesterday I would have a sign made. Now, I promised my kids would do it, but we didn't have time. So I did it. Come back, Kade. And we asked Kade, all right, what is it going to take? Well, Kade mentioned NIL. He mentioned where he's projected right now is, fourth round. And if he can somehow get fourth round money with NIL, that makes it worth coming back. Now, I don't know if an offensive lineman is getting fourth round NIL money that is currently on the team. Now, fourth round NIL money is quarterback NIL money right now. It is high school quarterback money right now. So you saw Ewers go from Texas to Ohio State, and he made $1 million. Like, we're seeing quarterbacks, the top tier quarterbacks out of high school, they're going to get those $1 million, 7-figure NIL deals. And fourth round money, like your first year, when you combine the signing bonus of where you drafted with first year salary, you're kissing $1 million. I don't know if Kade's gonna get that. I would be shocked if he comes close to that, to be honest. But you don't know if you don't know if you can get it if you don't ask. If you don't put that out there. Honestly, I don't think Kade expected fourth round. And I don't think that's good enough for Kade. I think Kade wants to be drafted higher, which means he will have to do some more work. And I think the NIL will just help make the decision easier to come back. But I have a feeling, and it's not like he said anything off the air, made me think that he wants to come back. I just have a feeling that he wants to come back. And he's just looking for every reason to justify to himself that it's the right decision to make. I think he wants to come back, man. Did you hear that in his voice?
Yes. I think he wants to come back. It's just I hope he's not being unrealistic. And that was my initial reaction, like, hey, man, like, I'm sorry, but you're not marketable to be enough. You're not marketable enough to make that type of money in NIL deals. Like, I'm sorry, but you're not.
We haven't seen it, man. We haven't seen it now.
Like, if there's only a couple players across the country making that type of money, and they're all quarterbacks. Bryce Young, DJ Uiagalelei before the season, De'Aaron King before the season, Spencer Rattler before the season. Like, I'm sorry, but guys like Kade ain't making that type of money off NIL deals. It's just the reality. That's not a Tennessee issue. Guys just aren't making that money. I mean, people fawned over the report of Texas offensive linemen making $50,000 a year. That's not 4th, 5th round money, and that was viewed as a lot of money for NIL. So I just hope he's not being unrealistic in that regard, because I know there's a lot of debate about how Tennessee's doing with the NIL and are they doing enough, and there's concern, there's question marks. I mean, the biggest issue is what Tennessee athlete is truly marketable to where they are going to command a lot of money and really get a lot of money. I mean, I think John Fulkerson's more marketable than Kade Mays, quite frankly. And Fulke ain't making that type of money. I mean, he's got some nice NIL deals, but they're all locally. And in my opinion, to get the big bags, like, you're gonna have to land some national deals, and I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I think Fulke may be more marketable, but he shouldn't be. I think Kade should be more marketable. Kade has a better personality. He's also local. He's also local as well. And in terms of playing professional football or basketball, which guy's gonna have the most success at the next stop? That's Kade. That's Kade over Fulke.
Mm-hmm.
But Fulke plays a sport where everyone sees his face. Like, I was in the grocery store a couple of days ago. I was standing right next to Fulke. Standing right next to him. And I didn't say anything to him, but I was standing right next to him.
You see his car out in the parking lot? Hard to miss.
No, I didn't see his car. I wasn't paying attention.
It says Fulke 10 on it, so you would have seen it.
No, I did not see it. Maybe I was parked on a different side or whatever, but I was standing right next to him, and no one was even looking at him, pointing their fingers, or they were just he just looked like a normal dude. Now, he's tall, don't get me wrong, and I like me some Fulke, and he's very marketable, but Kade should be marketable as well, and I think Kade has personality to have some businesses around here really get behind him and really help him make more money in the NIL. Now, as you were talking, I was looking up 4th round money in the recent years, and so we're talking probably about $600,000 to $700,000. I'm looking at rookie salaries from 2020, 2019, 2020, and understand that this number goes up a little bit each and every year in the NFL, but 4th round money was around $700,000. This was a 2019 draft analyst. Average guaranteed dollars by round, 4th round was around $700,000. Still a lot for an NIL deal for an offensive lineman.
Cade's not making $700 in NIL deals next year. I promise you.
Yeah, it'd be hard for me to believe that as well.
I don't think he gets to $100,000. I'd be stunned if he got to $100,000.
No, I think he can get to 100.
I would be surprised.
Yeah, I think he can get to 100
if he got it.
Because you think Tate Bixby got 100 to stay at Auburn?
Yes, but not legally.
If it's NIL, it's legal. If they called up their buddy over there, Milo, say, hey man,
The school's not supposed to set it up.
Whoever called up somebody over Milo, said, hey man, we need Tank to get that deal that Bo Nix had, and that deal is right around that number. Psh, hey, I can see it happening. Hour 3 coming up.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy. Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville.
Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself, but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. irisnetworksusa.com.
Man. Take my sip of my coffee.
We take a sip of mine too. My coffee is better than yours.
Boy, feeling better now.
You put anything in your coffee?
Nope.
Ugh.
Black.
Ugh. I'm more of a light skinned coffee drinker.
Black coffee.
Put that sugar in there.
Mm-hmm.
That vanilla cream.
Mm-hmm. I
My
like
cup's better than yours today.
Your cup is better.
I actually don't like drinking out of this cup because I hate looking at your face while I drink something. I mean, how would you feel if you were looking at my bald head on a cup when you were drinking something?
I wouldn't think about it.
Especially like yes, you would. Especially like on a Friday night, Saturday night when I put a little something in my drink and I choose this cup and it's like, dang, trying to enjoy my Friday night, my Saturday night. Finally get away from Swain, and I still can't even get away from Swain because I look at you on this cup.
It's a great cup.
And I still stare at your ugly mug.
It's a great cup, man. It's a great cup. Does the trick. Since we've
got another big one that just signed too.
And I know, man. That's why I'm feeling good. I'm relaxed because Tennessee got the paper from running back Justin Williams. Let go. Yes. Feeling a whole lot better now, man. I'm telling you, you can't trust Auburn, man. Can't trust Auburn.
Man, that's a really significant pickup. Justin Williams is a stud, man, an absolute stud, and I think he'll push for legitimate carries next year. Tennessee needs a third running back, and if Jalen Wright doesn't have a big offseason, I could see Justin Williams pushing for number 2 carries as well, maybe being 2A, 2B with Jalen Wright behind Jabari Small. That's assuming that Tennessee does not add a running back in the transfer portal, and Justin Williams, early enrollee, Austin, or in his commitment interview with Austin that's posted on VolQuest, he said that he'll be back on campus soon. Later this week for bowl practice. He'll be practicing with Tennessee later this week. So I imagine Laneith Whitehead and Jalen Wright, when old Justin Williams rolls into town later this week, they'll have a sense of urgency to them in practice.
I would. No, I would. Hey, man, and that's what makes you better, man. Competition makes you better. You want to look over your shoulder and be motivated to work, but you don't want to have to look over your shoulder every time you make a mistake and wonder if you're going to be, taken out of the game. But competition makes you better. I mean, you want to have that lion or gazelle mentality. Every morning you get up, you got to sprint, you got to run, or you're going to get passed up, you're going to get eaten. So you either going to get eaten or you're going to starve. So you want to have guys that have that lion or gazelle mentality. And like you just mentioned with Laneith Whitehead and Jabari Small, Jalen Wright, all those guys should feel that way whenever a new running back enters the room, because he is a bright, shining toy. Go look at and remember how you were recruited. It's the same way.
And real quick, shout out to Jerry Mack and Josh Heupel for Justin Williams, because Tennessee's been leading the whole time. But, man, Auburn really challenged Tennessee, and the ability to get Justin Williams on campus 3 times, 2 of which were before Auburn really turned up the heat. Another example of what we talked about yesterday. Don't wait too late to turn up the heat on somebody that you want. The Jerry Mack and Josh Heupel really hit it out of the park with Justin Williams, and they're a big reason he's here.
For sure, man. Who was our next signee after Justin Williams?
Two of my favorites in the class, Cam Miller from Memphis and Squirrel White. Squirrel White is officially of all his real name, Marquarius White, but goes by Squirrel, and I think he is the one that Swain and I are most excited about. I know he is for Swain, and he is for me as well. So he is the recruit that we are most excited about in this class, and he's the real deal. And we talked about Tennessee having to hold off Georgia and Auburn to sign Squirrel, and that should count as a big recruiting win for Tennessee and Josh Heupel. Didn't flip at signing day, didn't commit at signing day, so it kind of gets swept under the rug because he was already committed. But Tennessee had to fight for Squirrel White, and they got him. And he's the real deal. He'll far exceed his recruiting ranking, and I mean, he's a guy that Alabama really liked. And when he camped at Alabama over the summer, he outperformed 5-star receivers and was arguably the best receiver at that camp over the summer when he camped in Tuscaloosa. And if Alabama did not already have a slot receiver, Marquarius Squirrel White might have been the next one. And he is a speedster. Claims to have run a 4.37 40, 10.96 in the 100 meters, and great acceleration. You saw it in that video that went viral of him in the state championship game a couple weeks ago. He's a stud, man. I'm really excited about Squirrel White, and you're showing Cam Miller now on the video. Now you moved over to Squirrel White. I kind of talked in reverse. That's on me. But I really like Cam Miller as well. I think he's another underrated guy because of the city of Memphis not allowing high school football in 2020, so didn't have a junior season and kind of flew under the radar.
There's Cam right there. Had Cam Miller up there, and he is what we call a football player. He is a football player. That's Cam Miller, man.
Mm-hmm.
He does a lot of things really good at the wide receiver position, and he is the type of player that you want inside of your program. He's a player that I think that can play special teams, go down there and knock somebody's block off, and then catch a big pass on 3rd down and get hit and hang on to the ball. He brings a level of toughness that this wide receiver room needs. So, like to pick up from those 2 players, like to pick up for Tennessee with those 2 players. So, looks like that is the recent signees.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to keep up with Tennessee football's Twitter account here.
Yep, and when Tennessee posts the videos of their scouting report on Squirrel and Cam, we'll get those played because I think those are 2 really good guys that people would love to hear the insight from the coaches on why they went after those guys.
Yeah, we can get Christian Harrison's in here if you want to. Looks like some. First of all, I just like hearing Willie Martinez talk.
Willie
Martinez. I just feel relaxed. I feel safe.
You know, Christian.
I feel safe when I hear Willie Martinez talk.
He's practically the son of a coach.
So, matter of fact, let's not waste any time, man. Let's get to it.
Everyone, I'm Casey Funderburg, joined by defensive backs coach Willie Martinez. Coach, we are adding Christian Harrison to the roster. What is he going to bring to this defense?
Well, the first thing is high character. You know, he comes from a great school in Woodward Academy there in Atlanta, Georgia. He's got great parents. Obviously, a wonderful family. It starts there. Obviously, it starts with his skill set, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But but you got to have that high character, young man that has good leadership qualities. As you look at some of his plays he's made here, he's very athletic as far as the ball, seeking the ball. He's a ball hawk, so to speak. Really good ball skills, really loose in the hips here. He's going to drive down here and make this play right here. He's going to be very aggressive with all the 50-50 balls, and he basically is saying, look, the ball's in the air, it's my ball. You see him here, and then also, running after the fact that they're catching the ball. You want to have that athleticism to make a difference. And the one way you make a really big difference is not only getting a turnover, but also returning it for a touchdown. So he plays on both sides of the ball. He's a wide receiver. You can see him how aggressive he is. He doesn't give up even when the ball was caught. He's finding a way to make a play on the ball. He's also an aggressive player. You can see him right there on the line of scrimmage right there. And then he does a really good job of getting his eyes back and trying to find out and locate and tracking the ball. Does a really nice job here. He's got really loose hips, like I said. And then there it is again. He doesn't really give up on it, really just attacks it. And it's a great addition to our back end. And he's got, like I said to you, really good leadership skills. He comes from a really great high school that's, been very very successful, so we're looking forward to him joining the family.
And you talked about his family. He's got a little bit of NFL blood in him.
Yeah,
so
he
how
does.
exciting is that for him?
It is, again, and let's not underscore Erica, his mom, because she's a competitive person as well, but obviously Rodney Harrison, who was a great NFL player, it's also good to have that mentor in that household, and looking forward to being a part of the family.
Yes, well, Christian Harrison, welcome to Tennessee.
Yeah, just feel safe when you hear Willie talking. You give some cough drops though.
I know.
he been doing a lot of talking, man. This is the time of year where, man, you better not have a voice because you're coaching during bowl prep, and then you are on the phones talking your head off to these recruits, trying to make sure that they sign. So looks like we are going to have a eventful today, man. We a lot of guys that are signed. We knew they were going to sign, but maybe a surprise or two, Ben.
Yep. Seems like Tennessee is trending with a couple of key players, some crystal balls and some forecasts rolling in for Tyree West, the big defensive lineman from the state of Georgia. Seems to be trending towards Tennessee. That would be a really big pickup. Tennessee needs beef along the defensive line. I've kind of looked at him as the Walter Nolan replacement in terms of, and I'm more so referring to the star rankings. I mean, he's a borderline 5-star, high-level 4-star. And, again, Tennessee needs beef. Gabriel Okus, the Tulane commit that we talked about earlier, who's picking between Tennessee and an Illinois state champion wrestler down in South Florida. He's announcing any minute. Tennessee seems to be in a good spot there. And then also maybe seems as if the chances of James Pierce signing earlier or during the early signing period continues to increase. So it may turn into an eventful day for Tennessee. And I mean, it can always be eventful, but eventful in a good way.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's been some other SEC East teams who have not had the best day. We just got a tweet from Kurt Weiler, an FSU beat writer for Tallahassee Democrat, I guess the newspaper there in Tallahassee, says that 4-star defensive lineman Tyree West picks Tennessee over Florida State. Ooh. So nothing official, and this sounds like sour grapes from Mike Norvell because the kid has not announced yet.
Mm-hmm.
Probably informed Florida State. So how else would a newspaper writer be putting this out? That's pretty sad if Mike Norvell's getting this out there before the kid can announce because he's salty.
That's what Urban did to Jerry Gantano.
Yep. Shame on Mike Norvell if that is true. But Tennessee does seem to be trending that way for Tyree West. Obviously, we'll wait for official word. But the two SEC East teams that have had interesting mornings, I mentioned the South Carolina 4-star linebacker who committed 4 days. He's headed to Maryland 4 days later after picking South Carolina. And then Keontae Goodwin, I was trying to see who Tennessee just signed, who a 5-star committed to Kentucky. He had an announcement this morning to say that he's going to announce in February between Michigan State and Kentucky. He had a ceremony this morning to announce that he is going to pick between Michigan State and Kentucky in February, and he's already committed to Kentucky. But the latest signee is Dylan Sampson, the running back from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Justin Williams is the bruiser, Swain. Dylan Sampson is the speedster.
Wow. When is the last time that Tennessee has been able to go into the backyard of LSU and get a player? And I know you can sit here and say, well, maybe they didn't want him. But I look at Brian Kelly just getting there. I'm looking at some of the guys who decommitted. And this is what happens when you have a new coach go to a new program. There's uncertainty, and you have players decommit, even being really good players, and even knowing that Brian Kelly is a good coach and has won at a high level, you still don't know him. When you have this type of transition, you try to keep the players in state. And sometimes you take kids that maybe normally you wouldn't take, kind of like with Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee, when Pruitt got the job, there was a lot of players that were committed that was in state that I think if Pruitt was here a year previously that he wouldn't have taken. So this is not common for Tennessee to go down and get a player from Louisiana, especially Baton Rouge. And I wonder how much Brian Kelly and LSU recruited him, because this is a really, really, really good pickup for Tennessee, and he plays against good competition.
Yes, I'll take Dylan Sampson. We'll have to come back to Dylan Sampson because we've got some breaking news here on the Swain Event.
All right.
It is official. Tennessee beats out Florida State for 4-star defensive tackle Tyree West. Ooh. Tyree West has announced at his high school, so I guess it wasn't Mike Norvell with Sour Grapes. It was Tyree West announcing at his high school, sending it to Swain's DM right now. We can throw it up on Swain Event TV, announcing at his high school, throws on the Tennessee hat, and we at Rivals have him as a 4-star, the number 97 overall player in the country, number 7 defensive tackle in the country, number 9 player in the state of Georgia, has been committed to Georgia for over a year, and it's been expected now for several weeks that he was going to ultimately go elsewhere, and he picks Tennessee over Florida State. And he's from Tifton, Georgia, which is not very far from Tallahassee. Tifton, Georgia, plays at Tift County. That is South Georgia. South Georgia, very close to Tallahassee. And he's coming up to Knoxville. Shout out to Rodney Garner. He done did it again.
Yeah, Dane Draper tweeted out a video of Tyree West's announcement where he picks Tennessee over Florida State. So I'll play it right now. If you are watching here on Swain Event TV, obviously you see it. But those who are just listening, here is that announcement right here.
Thank you, Coach. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and I'll be spending my 3 to 4 years for this. Let's go, Vols.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
And he's been torn. You can tell in that video that he was nervous. And he's been torn the last couple of nights on Florida State and Tennessee, truly torn. Word on the street was that he could not make a decision on Monday night. He had no idea where he wanted to go. So you could kind of tell there in his announcement that he was nervous and had been torn. You could tell it wasn't an easy decision for him. But a big shout out to Rodney Garner getting the job done there.
Listen, I'm looking at the Florida State coaching staff.
Oh, they salty.
And
take that, David Johnson.
Odell Haggins is the defensive tackles coach there. He good too. So
yes, he's the one that's been at Florida State for years, right?
Yeah, like he is a dang good coach. I mean, if there's anyone that is in the same stratosphere as Rodney Garner, Odell Haggins is one of those guys. So I think that kind of crystallizes the point that you were making that Tyree West, man, he was really struggling. He was struggling between two really good defensive line coaches. He was struggling between two programs that are fighting, clawing, scratching to kind of get back to a place where they once were, and two young coaches that seem to be very genuine. And the difference is Florida State has had a couple seasons under Mike Norvell. They have not been good seasons. Heupel has only had one. That season has been good in terms of beating out the expectations, doing more with less. So I totally understand for Tyree West why this was a tough decision, but happy that Tennessee was able to address the defensive line, because it was just 23, 25, 24 hours ago on the program when we were talking about being a little surprised that there wasn't more guys at defensive line, that was a little disappointing.
Yeah, this this solves that issue, especially with Jeffrey Umba, the JUCO defensive lineman from the Congo. Mom lives in France now. He's not going to be signing with Tennessee, and this replaces the beef you lost with him, that you lost with Walter Nolan. This is just a massive pickup for Tennessee. Massive pickup for Tennessee. You asked me hour one where I thought the recruiting class currently sits compared to my expectations 8 months ago, and hour one it was where I thought they would be. Now they've recruited better than I thought that they would, especially if they can go out and add Gabriel Okus and get James Pierce to sign today. You seal the deal with Justin Williams with Auburn surging. It's shaping up to be a good recruiting class for Tennessee, considering all the circumstances that we have detailed for months.
Let's go to the phones. The Irish Networks hotline, 90 days, no payment for business internet, IrishNetworksUSA.com. And let's get to who you got.
We've got Dave Tona.
Dave Tona, good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Wearing all my orange down here in sunny Florida.
Yes, sir.
Shooting birds to all the Florida fans.
That's not what a good role model will do, Dave Tona.
Who said I was a good role model?
Good point.
That is a very good point.
Fire away.
I've got to take it from these knuckleheads, so I got to give it to.
Give it back to them.
I give them a double dose.
Rashawn Golden style?
Right. So what is the number we're looking at that we were anticipating signing, and then what does that leave us for the transfer portal? And I'll hang up and listen to you guys because I've got a cough today, so I don't want to cough on the air.
You're so courteous. They're at 19 now with Justin Williams and Tyree West. I don't think that there is a particular number. that Tennessee was trying to get to, just trying to get the guys that they like and then reevaluate after this week and hit the transfer portal and maybe try to find a guy that didn't sign that you think can be a late addition, like a Byron Young. He was an actual signing day addition last year, and
good point.
And he going to be Tennessee's best defensive player going into next season. So maybe you can find another Byron Young, but Daytona, I don't think that they were looking for a particular number. They're at 19 now. I guess they could get to 21 by the end of the day if James Pierce were to sign, if Gabriel Okus were to pick Tennessee, Keontae Scott also a possibility. So 21, 22, and that would give you 3 left for February, then plus however many extra transfers you can add, which is up to 7.
Noonan, Georgia, stand up. Chip Payne, stand up, because Tennessee got the signature of linebacker Elijah Herring.
And real quick before we dive into Elijah Herring, speaking of Gabriel Okus, he is with Illinois. So he's headed to Illinois. Don't know if Tyree West, Tennessee getting Tyree West, played into that decision. Maybe Tennessee was okay with Gabriel Okus going to Illinois, considering they just landed Tyree West and maybe James Pierce trending toward signing with Tennessee. He's not as much of a need in that regard. So I don't know the backstory there, just mentioning possibilities. But never mind on the Gabriel Okus front. He is signing with Illinois.
There it is. Elijah Herring makes it official. Linebacker, a position he needed help at. So that is the latest signee for Tennessee football.
And he will outplay his recruiting ranking. He is underrated, and he's going to simply outplay his recruiting ranking.
How many guys can we say that about?
Let's see. I think Taven Jackson will. I think Dylan Sampson will.
Where are they rated?
Well, let me start over. Let me do the guys that are truly underrated, because I think Taven Jackson is. I don't think he's like underrated.
Because
guys who fans are like cautious to buy into.
Because just me being a contrarian here and looking at the other side of it, it's easy to sit here and say that all these guys are gonna outplay their ranking and they're underrated to try to make yourself feel better.
Well,
who can we really say that about with confidence, in your opinion?
There's only, before I address that exact question, the ones that you just mentioned of kind of like to make ourselves feel better, like those guys aren't in the class anymore.
Gotcha.
Vincent Sneed was processed. Brody Foley was processed. Funny enough, they both ended up at Indiana. They're signing with Indiana. I had question marks around those players, and really the only question mark I have remaining is Brian Grant, the offensive lineman from Florida, who is not ranked at all. At least he wasn't the last time I checked. And he's somewhat new to football. His junior year was his first season of football, and he played on the defensive line. And this year was the first time that he's played offensive line. He's been mainly a basketball player, but he's 6'7", 280. Tennessee thinks he's a developmental prospect, and I get why Tennessee is taking him. But I mean, obviously, it is a huge risk to take a guy with that is that raw. But we'll see if Tennessee can develop him into something. So I wonder about Brian Grant, and then I also wonder about Caleb Perry, the linebacker from Kentucky that I discussed around the top of hour 2. But I love his versatility. Like, even with Caleb Perry, and he's kind of a tweener, which is kind of why I have a question mark around him. Like, even with him being a tweener, like it in a way, it's a good thing because he's so versatile. I mentioned earlier that he plays linebacker, he plays safety. Has played part-time roles at running back, quarterback, and receiver on offense. For a linebacker, he ran a 4.55 in the 40 during Tennessee's camp. Physical, athletic, intelligent, Word on the street is that he's a great kid. So, like, even though I like have a question mark around Caleb Perry, like, I understand why Tennessee is taking him. But in terms of the guys that I feel confident in saying are truly underrated and are going to outplay their recruiting ranking, like they are criminally underrated, Christian Harrison, he's 1. Jordan Thomas, he's 2. Elijah Herring, he's 3. I'd put Joshua Josephs in that category. That's 4. Squirrel White, 5. Cam Miller, 6. Caleb Webb got a really late recruiting bump. So I want to include him because for so long he was not ranked very high, and then he picks Tennessee over Michigan, and now all of a sudden he's a borderline top 300 player.
Yeah.
So I know he's ranked high now, but he wasn't for the entire process until like the last couple of weeks. So I would throw Caleb Webb in there as well. I mean, that's 7. Dylan Sampson kind of reminds me of Jalen Wright. That's 8. I think Dylan Sampson fits this offense perfectly, just like Jalen Wright. So, I mean, that's 8 guys right there that I think the stargazers won't be happy with, but I think will end up being productive football players for Tennessee.
That's what Tennessee needs, man.
And that's, I mean, and then you also have the guys that you do feel good about, like Taven Jackson, Addison Nichols, Tyree West. So, we'll see. Desmond Williams, the JUCO corner, he's not even ranked. I mean, he could fall into that category of somebody being criminally underranked. I mean, he's not even ranked at all. And he's the Swiss Army knife that we talked about earlier that can contribute on kickoff as well. So, I mean, you could even throw Desmond Williams into that category.
I like it. And that's what it's going to take, Ben. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take Tennessee to hit on some of these players that maybe the recruiting analysts missed out on, or maybe another school is unsure of, and you are sure. You believe in what you see. You believe in what the film tells you and what you see and your coaching abilities and how they fit and what you want to do offensively and defensively. And so you need some hits from this class. Can't have misses. Can't have too many of them because numbers are already low as it is. 865-255-03. There's an ugly side to today. There's an ugly side. And we would be remiss if we didn't bring up that ugly part of today for some players. And we'll talk about that as we come back from break. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Good morning, Swain Event crew. Fall is here, and according to the big box stores, it's Christmas time too. This time of year is traditionally a busy one for the East Tennessee real estate market, and it will continue through the end of 2021 as well. Most people think the holidays aren't the right time to buy and sell. However, it is one of the best times to jump in the market. To find out more, just give me a call, Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, at 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at NobodyTrashesTennessee.com.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Wide receiver from Bentonville, Arkansas, Chaz Nimrod, is officially in the boat. Wide receiver. So Tennessee just got all his paperwork. It is just 9:43, and I feel like we've gotten more than half of the class already done. It feels like it.
Yeah, I know there's going to be some that don't like the recruiting class because it's not ranked high enough, but the one thing you do have to get credit to Tennessee for, whether you like where it's ranked or not, is that they did go out and they addressed needs. They addressed all their needs, quite frankly, and we'll see if their evaluations on the kids were good. They went out and they got a quarterback for the class, a good one in Taven Jackson. They went out and got 2 running backs, and they're different running backs, which I love. One's a power back, and we mentioned Justin Williams, Swain, as like the beef of the running back room, but he can run too. So please don't get it in your head that just because he's viewed as a bigger back that he can't run.
He's not Jerome Bettis or somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not Lindale White. He can run, and that's why he is one of the most sought-after running backs in the country, Tennessee Auburn, and ranked fairly highly, is because he can run really well for his size. So you add him, you add Dylan Sampson, a speedster. You needed receivers, and you go out and add 4. I really like the 4 that are coming in. You didn't bring in a tight end, but I don't think you need a tight end.
You don't need one because both guys are coming back.
Exactly, and you have Miles Campbell.
And you got 2013
big time 4-star.
Yeah, so you don't need a tight end in this class. And
exactly.
That's what I was going to mention in this segment. I do want to, I won't say correct one thing that you said, but highlight that Tennessee addressed their needs the best way they could, because there's still going to be needs even after this class because there's so many holes. So they addressed needs the best way that they could, considering the circumstances. And I want to just add that to your point.
Yes. There was nothing Dooley-esque of not signing an offensive lineman. Like, you needed a lineman, you signed 4. You needed true defensive linemen. Right now you have 2 in Jordan Phillips and Tyree West. Maybe you go out and add another one. You needed edge rushers. You go out and get Joshua Josephs, Elijah Herron, Caleb Perry. maybe you can go out and add James Pierce. You needed DBs. You added Christian Harrison. You added Desmond Williams. You needed a safety. You added Jordan Thomas. We'll see if their evaluations were right.
The thing that stinks, though, about today is that there are a lot of players across the country that have been blindsided by the school that they were committed to, telling them that they are no longer going to take them. And that's the ugly part of signing day. Local product from West High School was a victim to that. And that stinks. We were just talking about it during the break, Ben.
Shannon Blair.
Who committed to Michigan State. Shannon Blair, as you mentioned during the break, was hurt at the beginning of the season, got hurt during the beginning of the season. Tennessee had looked at, brought him in, didn't offer, but he was committed to Michigan State for a very, very long time. And Michigan State, a day before signing day, they pulled a plug. They pulled a plug. And a tweet that has been deleted, Shannon Blair's, looks like somebody in his camp, his trainer or someone, was not happy. And I wouldn't be either. And this is stuff like this is what hurts schools from ever going back to a city or region to recruit players. The tweet that been deleted, it was from looks like Shannon Blair's trainer. You got 95 million problems now, Coach Tucker. At Michigan State football, #no green. Also, saying I'll make sure that Michigan State will never get another kid from the state of Tennessee. Yo, Coach Tucker, you wrong. I will show you better than I would tell you, though. I will ride for mine, #no green. And you know what? I'm with that trainer. Man, you spend so much time with this young man. I've been in that position where you're training the kid, and that kid's telling you his goals and his dreams, and he's trying to make sure that he's prepared, and he's giving everything that he got, and you can see the blood, the sweat, the tears that he's putting into improving and being prepared to play at the next level. You see that, you witness that. And then, boom, Michigan State drops you. If I'm a trainer, I would be pissed too. I will be vocal too. And I would have the same mentality that, no, I'm not letting you come back into the state. Now, that's going to be hard to do. But I would not let you come back in this region without folks knowing what you did to one of our own. One of our own. So Mel Tucker comes back and he wants to recruit a kid from Fulton or Powell or Bearden or whatever. You better believe this trainer's going to let that player and that school know this is what to expect. Just keep your eyes out. This is what he did to one of our own, Knoxville native. And Tennessee, listen, Tennessee had to part ways with 2 kids as well.
And they let it be known. Brody Foley's mother was not happy. Linked the article about Rock Taylor from a couple years ago when Tennessee cut ties with Rock Taylor before signing day under Jeremy Pruitt. Tweeted at that link and said that she wished she would have seen that article before she allowed her son to commit to Tennessee. She has since deleted the tweet. But Tennessee did that with Brody Foley, the tight end from Cincinnati, and Vincent Sneed was not happy about being processed either, the defensive lineman from the state of Florida. But the fact of the matter is, they didn't have good senior years.
Yeah, man.
And Tennessee's not in a spot to be taken like Brody Foley. He was committed to Tennessee at a tight end. And during his senior season, he caught 13 passes. He played a bigger role on defense at linebacker for most of the season, and the only time he lined up at tight end was when his team was in the red zone. He caught 5 touchdowns, but I mean that's not all that promising when you don't need a tight end. He's not a game-changing tight end that you're adding, and you don't need one, so use that spot elsewhere. Vincent Sneed quite frankly, he had a really bad senior season. 3 sacks, 8 games during his senior year, only 28 tackles. Like at that level, if you're coming to the SEC, you should be performing better than that, quite frankly. And also, I think he had an interesting time on a visit as well. So there were a lot of factors there, and he was not happy about being processed. He didn't tweet out that he had been processed until like a month after Rodney Garner had informed him.
Hey man, hold on, y'all. Stop tweeting these recruits, okay? Number 1. Number 2, you need to back up a little bit. Like,
y'all can't be friends with them.
You need to back up. Getting too close. Getting way too close, way too comfortable. These are teenagers. Bag up a little bit. Yes, you want them. Yes, you want to show the passion of this fan base, and I get all that, but there are limits.
Yes, what bothers me is like you get emotionally attached to them, and then Tennessee makes the correct decision to not sign them, and then y'all go scorched earth on Tennessee.
It's
when they're making the best decision for Tennessee.
They do that. Sometimes there's folks that don't know, the butthole from the mouth, man. Sometimes they don't know. They don't know, man, because they don't know if they want to, try to win with getting the best players for Tennessee, or if they want to be buddy with players that have played their way out of being at Tennessee. They don't know, man, and they contradict themselves. The best approach here is to keep an arm's length, an appropriate distance from these recruits. Like, stop trying to be their best friend. It would be safe if you just stop trying to personally tweet them. Like, I understand, like a little big orange emoji or a Tennessee GIF. I get that. Or let's go big orange on the timeline. I get that. But stop trying to have conversations with these recruits. Stop trying to influence them. Don't use up all your characters on Twitter trying to explain why they should come to Tennessee. You're wasting your damn time. Like, just stop. Anyway.
And I mean, do y'all not think it's a little weird of how much Vincent Sneed was interacting?
To
me,
it was uncomfortable.
It raised red flags for me.
It was uncomfortable,
especially when some of you of all Twitter mainstays were sharing stories about how he was tailgating with his pops.
A little weird. So let's just learn a nice little lesson moving forward. Let's respect those boundaries a lot. Let's respect those boundaries. Not a little. Let's respect those boundaries a lot. But, Tennessee, Pruitt, Butch, Heupel, you win with good players. And you recruit a player thinking that he's good. You get a commitment from him, and you can't not get it. Like, you cannot take it. If a player who you think is good at junior year wants to commit going to his senior year and he's good, you have to take the commitment. You're not going to sit there and say, no, I don't want to take your commitment right now. I want to continue to evaluate you and see if you are good. That's slow playing a kid. Then that kid blows up and then he goes somewhere else. So you have to take the commitment. But I think the moment you know that he's not a take for you and you have his backup, you have somebody that's better, you want to let that person know as soon as possible before signing day. And if you are a parent of a recruit in that position where your kid is committed and has been committed for months and he's not playing as well as he did the previous year, it's time to have a conversation as a family about option number 2, option number 3. Because a lot of this animosity and a lot of the raw emotion, which I understand, like I'm not getting on any parent at all or any trainer. I understand that emotion. I understand that feeling. But you need to be educated more on the process. And the reality is most parents will only go through this once. Now you look at the Hyatts, they have a younger son, that will be recruited by everybody, that is being recruited by everybody. So they learned a lot during Jalen's recruitment that will help them handle Devin's recruitment. But most parents only have one. Most parents only have one kid. And unless you have someone that's been through the process themselves, that can walk you through. Like if I had a family friend that had a son that was recruited and he committed and he's a little, teetering on the line, maybe not being good enough to play at the school that he's committed at. Like, I would tell him, hey, man, you better go look at option number 2 and option number 3 and prepare yourself for if this school says they can't take you because you haven't progressed. You haven't gotten better. Your commitment is contingent on you being the player that you was when you committed and better. And if you don't, you getting dropped. This is a business of winning. And you can't take bad players. And you can't take players that regress. If you regress at the high school level, you can't get worse when you're playing against little Timmy and Jimmy that's half your size. You can't get worse in high school and expect to keep those commitments. So I think knowledge, expectation is directly linked to reaction, in this case, with parents and trainers being upset. I think if you have the information, you understand the expectation, going into it, if a school pulls a scholarship based on the regression of the particular prospect, then you won't be as mad because you would have known. A lot of these cases, they don't know. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know. And I wish that there was an organization or a group that would help these parents without trying to get money from them. Help these parents understand this is what's going to happen if your kid does not continue to improve. This also could happen during your recruitment process. Like, I just wish there was someone that was like, hey, man, here's some free information to help you not want to choke everybody at the school your kid got dropped from. Here's some information. But we live in a day and age where it's about the dollar. So
maybe we could start a business.
I would do it for free.
Listen here, mama.
But I can't. I can't do it for free. But I would, it needs to be free information out there. Like, hey, parents, if you commit to a school and they not calling you as much, that's a sign.
Yeah,
that's a sign. You grew up middle school, high school. You dating the person and they ain't calling you or texting you as much. There's something going on there. All right. So a lot of it is just they don't know. All right, let's go to the phone.
Let's talk to Volstorm, and then we'll put a bow on today as we get out of here and update the latest as we get out of here.
All right, Volstorm, good morning, my brother.
That's the reason I don't call as much. It's not you, it's Ben.
I got you. I understand.
Why? You were the first person texting me this morning. I love your fake toughness on the airwaves. You're always in my phone, texting me, asking me stuff, asking me how I'm doing, and then you get on here and you act fake.
I love you.
Let's be clear here. I've never asked how you were doing.
Incorrect.
You are. I text you for information. That's it.
No, you don't. I'm gonna go find screenshots of you calling me. You called me a great man one time. You asked if
was I drunk?
when I don't know. That's for you to decide. When my wife and I had COVID, you asked if you needed to drop anything off. Like, don't get on these airways and act fake tough.
It's only because it was on the way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cared. Guys, I can't believe it. Well, I can't believe it. We're having to have this discussion again. Folks, don't tweet recruits. Just don't. I'll even go so far as to say is don't even tweet them congratulations. Just don't. Just avoid it. Stay away from it. Some of y'all a little too close, and I think we all know who I'm talking about.
It's not just him. There are a lot.
Oh, I know. But, yeah.
This is just advice, man. It ain't to try to embarrass anybody or make fun of anybody because we're not, I ain't trying to mention anybody's names because it's plural. But it's just advice. Like, just advice. That's all.
Just leave it alone. It's cringeworthy.
Okay.
And, guys, as far as having to basically tell a recruit to go somewhere else, there's about just as many who slow play the schools, who flip their commitment at the last minute. So it kind of works both ways.
It does. You hate that, but it does. I wish there was a way that we can not do that, but it's not.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's a business.
It's a business.
And, there's not a lot of these services out there that are going to help these families for free because the whole purpose of a business is to make money. You know that. You own your own business.
That's right, which is why I can't do that for free because that would be time taken away from my business that makes money. Yeah, so that's the way it is.
So the sky's not falling today?
Don't look like it's falling. Looks like it's okay. Sun's out. Weather looks like it's going to be good today.
I just want to make sure there's a lot of nervous people out there, so I just want to make sure everything world's not coming to an end or anything.
44 degrees. I got my shorts on. It's good.
You always have your shorts on.
I know, man. We good. Don't be eye me, Ben. I got shoes on.
Well, that's good. That's good. Hey, Swain, before I go, in the spirit of signing day, I was kind of hoping that you were going to sign a new producer, but I guess we're stuck with Ben Garantano for another year. See you, guys!
That was a good one. Tennessee is 15.
Sorry, what?
15, ranked 15 on 247. I'll let you pull up. I'll do it. 15 on 247. And Rivals now.
What were they on 247 when we started the day?
Was it 20?
I think so. Because I think on Rivals 21, one spot behind.
All right. Check this out. Tennessee on Rivals. They are at – this can't be right. This is right. 2022 class. This football. This basketball. No, this football. Wait a minute. Yep. Tennessee Rivals is number 11.
Wow.
Number 11.
Yeah, y'all can miss me with the recruiting class slander this cycle.
Number 11. I knew I always liked Rivals.
Yeah, me too.
Good
folks over there.
I knew I liked Rivals the best. That might change in about 2 hours. We'll see. I knew I liked Rivals, but I always believed in Rivals.
It might change for the better.
I knew I'd like Rivals. It's okay that y'all didn't have Trey Smith 5-star. But anyways, Ben, good show.
Yeah, one final signee out the door, Joshua Josephs. He's in the boat.
That's right.
From good old Kennesaw, Georgia. So we'll have another great show tomorrow. This will continue all day long, and we'll put a bow on the early signing period tomorrow. I'm going to try to get old Mr. Hubbs on here, join us in the morning to also talk about Tennessee's recruiting class with us. Josh Heupel meets with the media today at 4:30 to talk about his signing class, so we'll have plenty of coverage on tomorrow's show as well.
Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hour number 3, guys, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. If you're feeling tired, you're feeling grumpy, you've noticed weight gain, loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels, low thyroid, or even sleep apnea, and Low T Center can help determine the cause, and they can help. A big way they can help is offering $155 monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments. This is the self-pay option. It is covered by most health insurance, so you can save there. If your health insurance wants to take care of that, they will ship directly to your home. Let me reiterate, they will ship directly to your home. Simply go to lowtcenter.com, find the nearest location to you. There's multiple locations in Tennessee. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Hope you have a great Wednesday, early signing day. 7 a.m. tomorrow. Peace and love. We are out.